get him started. He will sing that whole song.
All right. So it's not Taco Tuesday, but we're going to talk about it. So I'm one of your hosts, Celestial Sun, joined today by my other co-host.
Hello. My name is Nikki D. Luffy.
And our two wonderful guests today are...
Aloha, I'm ZohCake.
Hi, I'm Brandon. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever, yeah. Easy mode. And, yeah. So, I guess we'll just fucking kick right into it. And, let's, yeah. So, experience as a streamer, and, what's your motivation for grinding so hard for streaming and trying to push for, you know, whatever your specific goal is? And feel free to just take it with it.
You want to go first?
No, ladies first, as always.
Okay. Experience as a streamer. At first, it was really difficult. I want to say, building your following can be quite a struggle, especially if you don't know how to network properly. But then, you know, like when you are trying to get started, you get some weirdos that'll pop in your stream, and like especially if you're a female, it's not very pleasant.
100% on that.
Like I'm not joking. I've had people ask to see my feet and if they could like suck on my toes and stuff. It's bizarre. But yeah, for the most part, it's been really fun. Twitch has a really great community of people, and they're super supportive. You know, especially if they like what you do. You know, they'll show up every time. They'll toss you biddies, which totally not expected. You know, like I totally started streaming just because I wanted to make friends. You know, people to game with. You know, and then here I am at T3. You know, greatest community ever. So
shameless plug. All right.
Yeah, Taco Twitch team represent. Okay.
Mine were entirely different. I recognized very quickly that I don't have the skills for corporate America, so I got to figure out something to like make money for myself because no company's gonna hire me.
Yeah, and it ain't cheap.
So
I share the sentiment.
So this is I gotta be funny and engaging, and I know how to talk about shit because no marketable skills.
Okay.
It's been fun though. Like I've learned a lot about myself. Like
for sure
that I can sit and play a game for 12 hours and like not get bored.
Gotta put that on.
I can make random strangers laugh just by doing weird stuff or just by being myself. And it makes me feel good about myself because there are certainly a lot of times when I definitely feel like shit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like without a doubt, streaming is one of those definitely like self-inflating things. Especially when you start seeing them numbers too. Like, you know, you hit that 10, you're like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. First time I had 10 viewers, I thought I was hot shit in a champagne glass.
Yeah, always.
Bro. Oh yeah, here we go, baby. Ninja, here I come.
Peaks, you know, you hit that 15, you're like, okay, we getting there. Okay.
I got this shit.
Yeah. Like last night, fucking peaked at 23. You know, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, it's a return. Return of the king. Like, okay.
Dick over here.
We back in.
Especially with that double raid that we hooked you up with last night.
Well, there was fucking 4 of them, more or less, back to back to back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Between
you,
Brazado, Chaos right before that, and then Bear dropped the 1. But, you know, 1 is always appreciated, no matter the size.
Yeah.
It's the intent behind it that matters.
Very true.
For myself, I do this shit for fun. I am not gonna lie. You know, I live off of my pension, so I don't really have to worry about money. So it's not really a concern. I don't worry about finances per much. I just do the shit because people always told me, you're a fucking goofball. You're an absolute fucking hysterical riot. Fucking send it. That's it. Pretty much it.
Bro, I love watching you. Are you serious? Like you were a pleasure.
I don't
watch.
see it.
Like,
but that's you know, self-image issues.
You and Nick both are like my favorite streamers, I swear. Like I love watching your guys'
You can't
content.
see it, but I'm totally blushing. My goodness. For the most part, I think like a majority of the newer streamers that are coming into this, like since last year, my main reason, of course, was COVID. Having a lot more time on my hands than I would like, so I figured, all right, you know what? Let's see if I can do this. I've tried it prior while I was in school. Didn't really click, you know. I didn't really understand about the networking thing, and honestly, after finding a community, I think that's one key thing that I did right in terms of going into Twitch, after finding that community, building that, and just having fun with it, it was really dope.
Yeah. That's
sure.
really important is trying to have fun with it, because like I feel like
Yep.
if I wasn't as passionate about doing this, you know, I probably would have gave up a long time ago. You know, like my fiance, he was a lot of the reason why like I didn't quit. I probably would have gave up like within the first week, just because like the struggle is real, you know. So
yeah, I
but
went
yeah, finding that support, it's really important.
absolutely, yeah, because I did the same thing. I slugged through it, you know, that 1 to 2 viewer stream, consistent all the way up till you hit that affiliate number. Didn't network,
Yeah.
didn't do any of that, so hit it with the friend support and all that and small group, pushed through it, and after that it killed me entirely. Like I had no motivation because it was like, well, cool, I made affiliate, but what does it do me? Nothing.
Now what? I was the same way when I got my first payout, and that was in September. I was like, okay,
yeah, we're not going to talk about my first payout. That's a little bit of an outlier.
No.
Brando, I don't think you were too
that was
privy
mine.
to that. Because there was a certain individual who went a little bit too ham, who shall not be named, that pushed my payout to triple digits.
Sorry.
Yep. Fucking goofball. I chewed her the fuck out for that shit.
Oh man.
Hi,
Yeah.
Serene.
Hi, sorry. Yeah. Oh goodness. So I guess like now that you've become a streamer, right? Now that you've done your own streaming, when you're looking at other streamers, what do you look for? Like, what pisses you off though? Like, what's your pet peeve with them? For me personally, like I'm a major league audiophile, hence why I invest a lot of money in high quality audio equipment for my own use and for other people's use. That's one of the things that peeves me off. Like if I come in and it sounds like garbled mess that has like through 13 different cell phone companies in a tunnel, like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
That would, like, the sound quality is definitely one of them for me, just because like, or like sometimes you'll pop into a stream and all you hear is game, like you know the player is talking to you, but you can barely hear them. Like the game audio is just too loud, you know. But another thing that kind of like bugs me a little bit is people who don't interact with their chat. You know, that's a big one, you know, and then they want to complain about why nobody's watching them. You know, like, try being a little bit more interactive, you know, make it a little bit more fun for your audience. Just
Pay a little bit of attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I know I get games you can be fully engaged and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it's just experience. And even if you're talking to people you're playing with, pay a little bit of attention to the chat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's definitely something that you have to make a conscientious effort for. Because if
Of
you're
course,
not,
yeah.
it's just going to get toned out. Especially like, like Brando said, when you're getting into the zone, some games they just draw, and it requires like every ounce of your mental capabilities if you're really fucking into it. And so you're just like, brain dead, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also the factor, like, not only the hyper focus factor, but also if you're not used to interacting with your chat because the chat typically is non-existent. There's always
Yeah.
that feel, and then so
Mhm.
you get in the mode like, all right, no one's in there, just gonna do my thing. I think one thing that I helped counter that, like once I learned, like, all right, I just gotta somehow when I get those random people coming in, so how am I gonna hook them in, right? I think
Mhm.
narrating or talking to yourself, as
Mhm.
funny as it may sound, I think it works very well.
Yeah, just never shut up, literally.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect example of that is our buddy Clint Hollows. He could have literally 0 viewers and he's just chatting himself up a storm, being all kinds of funny, all kinds of super talkative and narrative, you know, when he's streaming. Like, yeah, also plugging.
Yeah. No,
Rest in
that's,
peace.
That's a good one.
Rest in peace. The something stupid button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, he's a trip. He's a character for sure.
Mhm.
But like, I guess another thing is too when I'm looking at content creators, whether it's for a raid or someone I'm looking to watch for a little bit too, it's overall their personality. I guess is a good way to put it. Not so much in the sense like, I'm looking for people whose personality is similar to mine. I'm just looking to see if they voice their personality, if they show it off per se on camera. Because that's definitely another skill that took some time for me to get used to. I'm definitely an outspoken person, but kind of pushing yourself out to the internet, and yeah, sure, maybe 1 to 2 viewers to start with, but you start getting them numbers, and you have people who are consistently tuning in for you. They're there for you. So getting comfortable with your own personality and more or less coming out of your shell. Like, I'm not shy by any means, but still pushing myself and just kind of going full egotistical on fucking stream, for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, yeah, especially like when I was like streaming, and then if my wife is nearby, and then she like after the stream, she's like, I was like, you're like a totally different person, or sound like a different person while I'm on the camera because I'm like hyper exaggerating a lot of things, or like I'm trying to push out that energy because one thing that I guess going to the opposite of this question, where it's not a pet peeve, but something that I'm very attracted towards is super high energy in streams, you know, like vibe off of their energy and it makes you just want to chill there.
Yeah, you want to catch the contagion.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess one other thing that bugs me is when people are streaming and like it's cool if you're playing a character, you know. I'm all for comedy. Don't be fake about it though. You know, like don't just put on a show for the sake of putting on a show. Like if you're gonna do a stream and play a character, be yourself as well. Like don't fake it.
I mean, I get yes and no. I see where you're coming from with that. I mean, in a sense, like if you're just fully just blatantly bloating, you know, a side of your personality, then yeah, it's kind of a little off-putting. But when you talk about things like, you know, Dr. Disrespect, for example, full character, Tyler One, another great content creator who's very characteristic, and they push that character to the max. That's actually dope as hell, and you know, and that falls under the line of gimmick and playing off of your gimmick and whatever you decide your gimmick to it. Like, for example, we have another small streamer in here, Horatius. You know, he's the dwarf and VTuber, and he plays the full dwarf character and just full sends it 24/7. It's super dope. Absolutely amazing content from that alone.
Yeah.
Because he puts part of his personality into it, and that's kind of what makes that character good. And that's really what you need to see. But the people who just kind of completely detach themselves from it and just, you know, two separate entities, kind of like you got schizophrenia going on. So it's a little off-putting.
Yeah.
No, I totally get the point you're trying to make, Zoe, with that. Like, like not necessarily the people acting a different persona, but more so like
A different person entirely.
It's hard to put into specific words, but totally understand what you're meaning by that.
Like I've tuned into some streamers and like as soon as they realize that people are watching them, they become like a different person, you know. Like if it's like
the mask slips.
They start like flipping hair and being all you know,
honey,
like, okay,
hey, hi.
Like I've been lurking on you for a minute now and I haven't said anything just to see what you're gonna be doing, you know, but the moment somebody says something, it's just
that's another thing I do too, is lurk for a little bit, get a taste for their personality, especially on those very quiet chats too, where, you know, they're sitting on like, you know, 3 viewers and but no one's talking in chat. So you're just gonna sit there, you play it out, you play it cool, you see what they're up to, see what they're about. Then you throw in a little bit of conversation here and there, see if you can perk them up, see what's going on, you know. And then like when you see that switch, you're like, that ain't it, chief.
Yeah. I think another a pet peeve of mine, keeping on that topic, when I go into chats, is follower only chat.
Yes.
I definitely understand it, like from a person's point of view. Like, all right, yes, if you don't want the bots, or yes, if you don't want that, but there are definitely other ways around it.
Yeah.
Then make follower only, because you're like pushing people into a corner.
Yeah, well, I think another part of that too is that it's follower fishing. You know, it's a way to more or less force followers if people want to interact with you. But at the same time, that's such a huge deterrent, especially on Twitch, a platform that already has absolutely no discoverability, already has a whole host of other issues in order to trying to promote yourself. On top of that too, like the pre-roll ads kill your viewership as it is. You shouldn't be doing anything that should actually contribute to killing your viewership. Because if people come into your stream, they see follower only on top of the pre-roll ad, because Twitch is going to roll them anyways. Live with it, run it, deal with it as you will. But they see that pre-roll ad, and then they see follower only chat. 9 times out of 10, people are just going to click right off. A lot of people already click off just because of the pre-roll.
Yeah, like as a viewer myself, I do see that as a slight turn off. You know, like sometimes I'll hang around.
Turn off for me.
Yeah, sometimes I'll hang around just to see, you know, what it's gonna be like after that ad plays, you know. But like the follower only chat is probably worse than the ads for me.
No.
But it's just because like I said, that follows you into being, or I mean that forces you into being a follower, you know, and like you don't automatically know if you're gonna like the content that you're seeing. You know, so it's like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna follow this person and then unfollow them if I don't like it?
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. So. Like, because like you know, it's a little bit different if you're larger in size. You know, you get 100+ viewers. Sure, yeah, follower only chat. It's not going to be that detrimental at that point because you know you're actually filtering out a lot of the people who are typically going to be the shitheads, for lack of a better term. You know, the bots and all that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And also it helps to limit the amount of chat interaction that you actually have to force, because if you're at that number, it can get absolutely insane, and then some. What was that? Sorry, you cut up.
Oh, so it's understandable. Sorry, I turned my gain down because
Starship
is playing with people right now. So yeah.
Actually, this is weird that I don't have a lot of pet peeves. Like all the things that you guys are listing are very valid complaints, but like it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be for everyone, you know. And we each, because at the end of
I,
the day, we're all our own.
I also don't watch a lot of people who aren't already my friends.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, true.
Like I'm not just like it's very weird. I don't just scroll through Twitch looking for somebody. I have to be like, oh, this person is doing something I like. Let me check it out some more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more so like looking for inspiration per se.
Right.
Yeah, you know, going through Twitch, seeing what other creators are doing to see what I can possibly do to elevate myself. And, you know, it's just a research on that end. You know, yes, I do this for fun, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to be successful doing it. True. I guess is the easiest way to put it. So that's something that I do is, you know, peruse a little bit. Yeah, I did say do.
I was just about to say that. You said do.
Yeah, adult humor for mature audiences here. Yeah. Adult humor for mature audiences here. Uh-oh. Stinky.
We're a bunch of dorks. It's okay though.
Yeah. But this is what makes this community so great, is we're just everybody's unabashedly themselves.
Exactly.
I don't see anybody putting on in the Discord.
Like, no, absolutely not.
I'm the authentic me every time.
Exactly. It's super genuine. Like T3 as a whole, it is one of the things that got me addicted to T3, and I'm going to say addicted because it's a addiction. I was already in the group when you came in, and then you've like you've strapped the rocket ship to your back, man. Yep. And like you made this community your own, and like it just goes to show you can set your mind to anything and do it. Yeah. Now here I am. You know,
that's what I like about you, homie. That's what I like about you.
You know, literally featured Taco for a week, and then you know during that week of my stint as featured Taco, my name went from that beautiful crispy red to that nice orangey poopy brown.
Poopy brown. Nice.
And now I'm a moderator. Yeah, something like that. That was definitely something.
Honestly, in T3, I love all of the random chats, even though I start a majority of them. I'll just say some random shit and people just roll with it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's how this came about. Like I think me and Nick one day were just like we're trying to think of ideas for stuff for the community to do. I'm like, hey, let's do a podcast.
Yep.
And
and then
3 months later, here we are.
Yeah, I jumped in on that too.
3 months later.
Yeah.
Dope.
And this is only because too I jumped on Nick's ass about it. He mentioned the podcast very briefly. I'm like, all right, let's fucking do it. Let's just get it done. You know, Brando's got his shit going on, so for now, I'll take the reins and help out here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not a leader. I'm definitely, hey, you guys should go do that.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, yeah, he's got a lot of great ideas, and he's a fucking amazing personality. And this is something that would definitely shine for him for sure.
Yeah.
But I was like, it needs a little bit of backbone. So fucking all right, let's go. I wanted to be a part of this anyways. I'll force myself in.
It needs the minimum amount of organization.
Yeah.
Which that's definitely not something I'm taking. That's you guys. Just show up, be funny.
Yeah. I mean,
I
we
jumped on
are.
it right away. As soon as you guys mentioned podcast, like Starshine was like, "Hey babe, are you gonna do this?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this. Let's go."
You were one of the first names we looked at, Brando. You were also like one of the first people we immediately talked about for guests, obviously, because
Yeah.
partially your love child, without a doubt. Can't deny you that.
I like to refer to myself as
Love
the
child.
Podfather.
The Podfather. Oh boy.
The Podfather.
Jesus.
The Podfather.
The Podfather.
It's nice.
We're gonna
Yeah,
be
it's like I didn't.
muting
It's like I
on and off
didn't
'cause we
think
got
of that.
background shit.
It's like I didn't
I
think
like
of that.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Like
Yeah.
these jokes should create themselves, man. No.
I mean, if we're going to talk about T3, I guess one of the biggest shining points of T3 as a whole, as a more or less streamer community, gaming community, the fact that it's not the stereotypical follow for follow garbage. That's really what stuck out to me at first. And that's kind of why I started sinking my teeth in. Because follow for follow, hot garbage, it does absolutely nothing for you because you're not finding viewers. You're not finding people to mesh with, to collab with, to do things with. Point in case, look at us now. We're doing a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a running thing. It's going to be repeated. It's going to happen again and again and again.
I totally agree with you. I could not agree with you. I was on that follow. I had this crazy belief that, if I just follow all these...
You're cutting out hardcore, homie.
Right.
Yeah, you're cutting out
Yeah,
hardcore.
cutting out.
Lost like half of that conversation right there.
Yeah.
Cut. Try again.
Yeah.
No, that's what I liked about this because I was
Absolutely.
one of those people who thought that follow for follow was going to work, and like if I get X amount of the percentage of people that I follow back to follow me, that will equal X amount of viewers. And boy, was I wrong about that shit.
It's like,
So
yeah,
I
I
had
click
this-
follow button, but they don't
Yeah,
tune into your
but they don't
streams.
come back.
They don't support, they don't do anything for you other than click that follow button and inflate that, vague number that does absolutely nothing for you, except for that
No.
initial 50. Once you hit that 50, who gives a shit?
That's all you need. Yeah. Beyond
Yeah.
that, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Like before I came to T3, and I've mentioned this quite a few times, me and Starshine both came from a follow for follow community, and it was balls. The chat was all business. Nobody was in there trying to get to know anybody. Nobody was trying to make friends, and in T3, it's all about the relationships. Everybody is trying to get to know everybody. Everybody's trying to be friends,
I think that's because we're all focused on the same thing. We're all basically
Yeah.
same level of streaming. We're trying to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this works so well.
Yeah. I've made so many friends since joining T3. Like we play together all the time. Granted, it's not always the same people every time, but like,
But that's the beauty of it.
like
It not being the same people every time. Like you get that variety, and also you expand that network. And ultimately, this is what we're using Discord to do, to network.
Yeah.
As all other social media platforms, we drop our links and do that, but in this way, it's networking in a fun way.
I don't drop links anymore, actually, at all. I believe,
But-
literally no. I don't.
I do have to say though, like I've definitely played with you, Celeste, and Nikki, and Cyber, and Serene the most. Out of everybody, I've played with you guys the most.
Well, I mean, it's just no matter what you do, it's going to be clicky, right? And that's an issue that's always going to face every Discord, especially something on a large scale like T3, because we're pushing
That's
that
life.
1,000. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
life.
Some people are gonna
Everybody-
mesh other people.
Exactly. Every group has
That's
clips.
not to say that we're not inclusive though.
No.
Like even though we have our cliques, like we still try to include everybody.
No.
So like that's one
Yeah,
thing that's
absolutely.
nice about it.
Yeah. Like, when do you ever
So-
see me turning anyone away? Like, it's the
Yeah.
only time that that's ever happened is with a very few specific individuals who seems like they intentionally went out of their way to aggravate me per se. And it's like, okay, well, I don't care about you. So bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But like realistically, because as a whole, this community is definitely unique. We've definitely had our issues, and there's always going to be shit going on in the background.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be privy to it. But like the thing that is the only off-putting thing for me here in T3 is the lack of vocal, or I guess like the vocal minority that's super prevalent and all that. Those are the only people you really see, and so you get a bunch of people joining, and they'll start out to be vocal, and then for whatever reason they don't catch the vibe. Um, but they just don't seem to stick around for it, you know. And I don't know if they get the wrong impression because, you know, you look at Gen Chat's just a mess 24/7, just absolute goon shit up in there. But that's part of what makes it great. If it's your cup of tea, for me anyways, I enjoy it. I'm always in there. Zoe is always in there whenever she's awake.
Yeah, when I'm awake.
Cyber is always in there. Nikki's in there a lot too. Like even Brandon here, he's not super active in the chats, but you still see him around quite a bit, and they'll still join up for, you know.
I'm like Batman, son. I'm always in the shadow. Always in the shadow.
Really? Because this recording says otherwise right now. You're quite in the limelight.
Oh.
Well, I mean that's because there's fame to be had. Always got to put myself over. Always got to put yourself over.
Very true.
The man behind the mask.
Yeah.
Behind the veil.
And you know, like it kind of wraps all around
behind the green screen.
Because you see, like, yeah, absolutely, like, it wraps back around to the whole genuine side of things too. Because you see people actually genuinely supporting you because they enjoy your content. You know, like you see me on Zoe's stream, you see me on Nick's stream. I'm supporting them. The money thing aside, you know, like we do the raids on stuff too, and then we'll drop money in there just to random people who, you know, aren't necessarily super vocal in T3 either. You know, we get everyone some love. And it's definitely like genuine. It's altruistic for sure. You know, like I'm not doing this in order to expect anything in return. No, I'm doing it because you're doing something great. Keep it up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like literally, it's the definition of immediate return, right? You put something down there, and then the moment the alert pops up, you see the instant reaction, and then in that, right, the viewer gets happy, the streamer gets happy, and honestly, everyone's just having a good time. So there's very little to send people, not like give the vibe people don't want to do it. You know? That's why like our raids are so fun sometimes.
Sorry, the rooster is here.
Oh boy. Brenda, you look a little concerned.
Yeah, I was like, well, I kind of heard something. I was like,
rooster?
I'm like, you actually have an actual rooster?
Yeah,
like,
Zoe has a collection of cocks that she keeps around.
In Hawaii, we have feral chickens, and they're just everywhere. They're like neighborhood cats, you know, and it's illegal to mess with them. Like you can't mess with them at all, or you'll get like
feral
$5,000 fine.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard that word used before.
It's like a $5,000 fine and like up to 10 years in jail if you fuck with the chickens here. They're just everywhere.
Oh my god, pulling a blank. Legend of Zelda. My goodness, I don't know why I couldn't say that.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the chickens.
Yeah.
The cuckoos.
Yep.
The horde has descended upon you, young one.
Speaking.
I mean, they don't really attack you here, though. You mostly have to worry about the government. The government will come after you.
The big chickens.
Yeah, speaking of big chickens, the geese up north in Massachusetts. I used to go to leave from school, and there'd be a horde of them just out front, trying to walk through them, and you're getting attacked. It's a normality. It's happening.
They're aggressive.
Yeah, they're aggressive. They're horrible. They're nasty. Like ugh.
Canada gooses don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So what's next on the list, boss?
Well, I was going to segue off of it based off of the Zelda comment, but I guess we'll do a little bit more forced of a segue. What's your current game addiction? What's the game you're fucking with hardcore right now? Like, what does it for you?
You know, for me, it's really hard to say because I play everything. You know, like it's really hard for me to pick and choose just because of how much I love gaming, you know, but recently here, I want to say so far my favorite streams have been playing Final Fantasy X and X2 just because of the nostalgia, you know, and how much I just really loved playing those games as a teenager when they came out. You know, and I love seeing the interactions from people, you know, partaking in that nostalgia with me. Like when I was going through the end of the game, and we were all talking about how emotional it was for me to be killing off my Aeons. Like I legit started, tearing up a little bit, even though like I've beaten the game like 4 or 5 times, and it still gets me. So like that was pretty fun. I love Final Fantasy X so much.
You know what's something that when I say it and it blows people's minds every time I did it, I never played Final Fantasy.
Wait, what you cut out there, bro.
I'll finish it for him. I never played Final Fantasy before.
Okay, so you're just going one step farther. Because I was always curious, like, what's going on here? And you've never just stuck your toe in that water.
Oh no,
before?
absolutely no. I played it before. I was finishing your sentence for you because you cut out at the end.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
I keyed up on it. I can read lips a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, my experiences with Final Fantasy are a little bit limited. Nick, if you want to go ahead and throw in that nice tag word for me, go ahead and say your current game addiction. Go ahead, spill it. Yeah.
Oh, it's the one with the building and all that, the Valheims.
Yeah, there we go. There's a nice tag word. Now I can throw that up on YouTube. That's guaranteed trending. Let's go.
Norse Minecraft.
Norse Minecraft. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Minecraft.
Actually, yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Is that basically what it is?
More or less, yeah.
I saw you guys streaming that. It looks interesting. At first, though, I thought it looked almost like Sea of Thieves, but then I read the game label. Oh, there's Vikings.
There's a little bit of everything mixed in it. I'd say, like there are bosses you have to fight. You get buffs. There's building. You do sail the seas, and it's quite the adventure. And honestly, I would say what makes it a lot more fun too, for sure, is the party. So if you have a good party with you, like most games, right? But this one definitely you get that really hard bonding experience because it's like any survival game that you play if you ever play those kind of games. But I don't know, something about Valheim, they did something right in my opinion. It's a really it's beautiful, but it's not beautiful in an obvious way. It's kind of subtle with it in terms of their design.
So while the core loop of gameplay for Valheim is not exactly my normal cup of tea, it's not something that I would particularly pursue. I do want to draw the comparison, right? Look at EA's title, Assassin's Creed Valhalla that just came out, right?
Yeah.
Same mythos, same everything, very similar premises in a sense. And you have a nice AAA studio behind it, multi-million-dollar game here. And then you look at Valheim. Roughly about $1 million in total cost, and it was built by a team of 5, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
A team of 5 people built that game, indie game, by the way. And look at the vast different level of success that both achieved.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. When you look at the gameplay loop for Valhalla and how bloated and boring it is, genuinely, it's boring. It's a bloated loop of gameplay, and it's rinse repeat. And then you look at Valhalla, which is not inventing the wheel in any way, shape, or fashion, but it knows what it's doing. And it does it right.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing. Like it really makes you think what these AAA studios are actually doing with their money, their power, their actual developmental teams that they have that are leagues above.
Trying to generate more money.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to generate more money, and they feel like cash grabs, especially in recent years. Like I can't tell you how many AAA titles I've been playing in the last couple of years. It's so few. Like I can count them on my hand. And even then, I was typically disappointed by them. It's horrible, and it hurts my soul as a gamer and someone who's passionate about the art form, because gaming is an art form, and game development specifically, that is not so much playing games. That's not so much an art form. That's usually just me being a shitter behind a keyboard and mouse, but that's I'm still gonna float myself a little bit, because like look at AAA titles and how the indie industry has come so much further in leaps and bounds than these AAA titles that have already had all this technology, all this hardware, all these amazing minds that are just being underutilized. And it's mind-boggling. Like, how do they not understand what's going on? How do they not have a grasp on what the communities want? How do they not understand, like, as a culture, what we gamers are looking for?
I have a retort to that. I was just finishing my head.
Yeah,
it's because it's entirely become a business.
Yeah.
At AAA's, your EA's, your Ubisoft.
Okay,
we
don't talk about EA here.
They're all about generating
revenue,
revenue and increasing their stock prices.
Exactly. And the reason that
responsibilities.
Yeah, the reason I say we're not going to talk about EA is because the main cash cow behind EA is the Ultimate Team franchise, which grosses over how many billions per year?
several.
I think it's like $7 billion a year. That is
they get
more than
me every year,
50%
man.
of their revenue. More than 50% of their revenue comes from Ultimate Team, which is basically their card trading system. And actually, there was a recent scandal involving that, in which there was a developer who had the tools in order to create the cards and was illicitly selling them on the more or less black market to people for absurd amounts of money. We're talking thousands of dollars for individual cards for these Ultimate Teams, because you have whales, and that's what they're preying on, is the whales. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Dumb people with disposable income.
Exactly, yes. Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Not that I'm in any place to talk, because the amount of money that I've spent on League of Legends is absolutely disgusting. But
hey, I've been there.
Yeah, still there.
I'm right there with you,
Still there. But let's also look at the difference in that. Free to play title, no actual gameplay advantage, because that's how they get you. It's a pay to win concept. You feel like you're actually lacking if you don't have these nicer cards per se. But for League, it's purely cosmetic. Granted, I'm not exactly about supporting Tencent as a company, because I'm not exactly a fan of what they're about and how gross and disgusting the margin of profit has become on League of Legends itself for the skins, because you look at older skin sets and some of them are like $950, $875 RP. They're sub $8 per cost. Now you look at them and every single one of them is at least $12. Like, why? And Valorant is equally as bad, and it hurts my soul. But at the end of the day, they're there to make a buck. So
I mean, it's the same thing with Epic and Fortnite. Like, how many billions of dollars does Fortnite generate for Epic just on on Battle Pass and skin sales alone? V-Bucks.
Yeah, V-Bucks.
Like, how many videos of
get the credit card?
Yeah, exactly. How many videos of parents reacting to how much money their kids have spent of theirs on V-Bucks?
Oh, again, that's another predatory system, and that's another issue that, I guess is another plague on the gaming industry as a whole, is the predatory level of things that have come into play. Loot boxes, again, another hot topic that has been around for a fucking minute.
It's anarcho-capitalism at its finest.
Gambling addiction being played into video games and actually being preyed upon by targeting people's weaknesses in order to make money. Corporate industry as a whole, it's disgusting. It really is. And then you look at the indie titles, and even some of them will incorporate, cosmetics and such. And they just do it right, per se, realistically, you look back to when it all started, right? Bethesda, the original of the in-game transactions, with the horse armor in, what was it, Oblivion, I believe? Yep.
Yes.
$3 for horse armor.
15 years ago today, that game.
Oh, big drop out there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
15,
God damn it.
It's not your fault. We know it.
No, I was checking there for a second too.
Yeah. But like, oh my God, it's filthy. It really is. And because you look at gaming as an art form, right? You look at some of the indie titles that came out, and even some of the more popularized ones, right? Like the big one that got me hooked onto gaming as an art form, Okami, way back in the day on the PS2. That was like the first game that I really went hardcore into. Like hardcore. Yep. I played a lot of games before then. I was playing RuneScape and all that online, playing other games more casually. But then once Okami, I remember at the time my mom's boyfriend actually bought it for me because he also liked games. He was like, check this out. This game is amazing. Handed me fucking Okami PlayStation Hits Edition. Fucking plugged that thing into my PS2. Didn't turn it off until I beat it. Sent it. Like, it was beautiful. It's a masterwork piece of a game, because it was more about the art and the overall gameplay being enjoyable for experience, rather than what we see today, a lot of which are just cash grabs, which is what sucks. It genuinely does, and that's why I can't support a lot of these AAA developers. Not that they're going to be any worse off without me, but
not gonna lie, within like the past decade, playing games like League of Legends, I've definitely dropped a couple $1,000s just on characters and skins and all kinds of shit,
Yep. Collectively, it adds up, because you're like, $10 here ain't that bad. $15 ain't that bad.
I'm pretty sure I've dropped like a cool $1,500 to $2,000 on League of Legends alone.
That's probably I probably spent about $2,000, and back when I was in my heyday of it, playing tournaments and all that, the skin for win sort of concept, and little 1v1s and shit, one up on that. So, but that account's gonna sell pretty whenever I do decide to sell it, but it's probably not gonna happen. So,
Oh yeah.
That's
Man.
how they
But on
get
that
you,
topic, I
man.
remember we had a Oh, sorry. So go ahead. You can
No,
go.
no, no, no. I was done. Sorry.
No, I was thinking. I remember we had a topic about, is it our console, our starting console?
Yep. Let's
Yeah, the
see.
console that did it for us. Right?
What's your gaming platform of choice? And by that I mean, like, what is the console that did it for you? What is your fucking all-time favorite? Doesn't have to necessarily be a console, it could be PC too, but like what's the platform? Like, what is your go-to for a good time?
Um, I don't play console anymore,
Mhm.
but growing up, I want to say my favorite console growing up, I have two of them actually, was Sega Saturn and PS2. Uh, like I started really early, back in the 80s playing Nintendo, but like as the gaming world started progressing, what really did it for me, as a child was playing this game called Clockwork Knight on Sega Saturn, and that game was just so dope. Like if you've ever played that game, you know what I'm talking about,
Yep.
But then later on, when the PS2 came out, there were just so many freaking cool games, that came out on that console, and it was around for a long time, going back to like Final Fantasy X, it was the first Final Fantasy where the characters actually had voices, and the graphics were phenomenal, and then they put there are games like Spyro, Twisted Metal, and
Twisted Metal Black. Oh lord.
Tekken was just the shit,
Yep.
like just so many really cool titles, but yeah, definitely for me, my favorite of all time would be the PS2. It was just an epic console for its time, and people still have their PS2s, and like I see them streaming it all the time, like it's just such a good system. Yeah.
Jeez, I go really
Oh, and there goes the conversation.
Yeah.
fuck.
Is your noise gate? It might be your noise gate.
It sounds.
Maybe
It looks
no. I
like
think I have it. My noise gate is fine. I don't have it turned on. My ping is good.
As in, you don't have it.
You're-
It's
you're-
set
You're
automatically.
moving.
No, yeah. Do you want me to do that? Maybe that. Turn that. How about that?
Could be.
Well, I need you
Yeah,
to talk for long periods of time to see if it'll do it.
How about that? If I just do the, or if I just do the microphone.
Can you feel it now, Mr. Krabs?
Can you feel it now? No. I will always be PC first. Like, start from the early days of the C64. That's always been. I've always had some sort of computer life, but for me, what really like probably is my favorite console of all time because I bought myself as an Xbox.
Xbox 360 or Xbox?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you cut out.
Yes. Because it's the first one that was like, it wasn't a Christmas gift. It wasn't like any sort of birthday present. It was one that I bought with my own money. And I felt like this such an amazing sense of accomplishment that I bought this. This is mine. Nobody could claim that they gave this to me. Mine.
Yep.
And I rode that thing to the wheels fall.
Oh yeah.
I still have it. I'm never gonna get rid of it. Same thing with my PlayStation 3. It's mine.
Yeah. It's your baby.
Still have my I still have my PS3 right next to me because it has a game on it that you cannot play on any other device or console, and it's NCAA football. They've stopped making the game in 2013.
Yep.
I have not found anything. College football.
Okay, college football. We got the last of that. I think that about sums
God
it up. Technical difficulties,
Is it
man.
the
They're a pain in
gain
the
on
ass.
your mic? Is it the gain on
Maybe.
your mic, maybe? Because I know the Blue Yetis are kind of touchy with the gain.
Yeah. For the Yeti, I
Turn
always
it
had
all
mine
up.
maxed out, and I did all my, my actual.
How about now?
Seems to be possibly.
Yeah.
For the
Okay.
Yeti, I always had mine maxed out permanently, and then I just let I did my Go XLR would do the noise gate for that, and then I would do the noise gate through Discord manually. I found that worked pretty well. But yeah, for me, it's kind of hard to just pin down a specific one because much along the lines of what you said. So like, I have very fond memories of the Nintendo 64 Every weekend I would go over to my aunt's and we would sit there being up late night. You know, we would have junk food, sit there playing Space Invaders till like 3 a.m. or playing, you know, Mario Party or anything along those lines. Just having a blast with my aunt.
Yeah. And 64 was also a great one.
At the same time, like Brando said too, like PC first and foremost, always, you know, I've always had one in my life. I've, you know, RuneScape way back in the day when it was just RuneScape, you know, played that online, you know, back when AOL Messenger was the go-to to hit up people.
Yeah.
That's a fucking trip through time right there. But at the same time, you know, Game Boy Advance SP. I ran through about 3 of them fuckers. 3 of them collectively by the time that I moved on to the DS, because I loved them. Absolutely loved them. The games back then, you know, Pokemon, Kirby, all that good stuff. A lot of the older generation stuff. But again, you know, PS2, first console I bought myself. So always going to hold a special place in my heart. Really wish I still had it, but it died out on me. But, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of where I come from, and you can kind of see it reflected in, you know, what I like to play and all that, and see me playing a lot of, you know, I'm not averse to older generation titles, because I know we have quite a few streamers in T3 who exclusively stream those old generation retro stuff. And it's super dope because it's a massive nostalgia trip on that fact alone, aside from them being amazing games.
Oh, what about you, Nick?
I'm actually curious about this.
Say, so growing up, my brother bought the PlayStation 2. We've had computers. We've had the Nintendo. We had the Sega. We had definitely a wide variety of games. Never really got into Xbox, but my friends had Xbox, so I had that exposure there. But if I really had to pick one, I gotta say it definitely has to be the PC, because I remember what mostly got me started was my dad. He used to work for IBM, so he would have like a crap ton of random IBM laptops around the house. I'd have this really old one, and I'd be able to just lug it, or the portability of it. I was like, this is so cool. I can plug it around, and then I remember, I think I'm in like elementary, 3rd grade or something like that, or even younger possibly. And I'm at church with my parents, and they're doing their church thing, but I'm in the library of the church with the laptop with 2 other boys as my age, and we're playing Worms on the singular keyboard. It's just having that concept of playing games with friends on the computer was so fun. And then the second game that I got out after Worms was Bomberman. I remember playing that with my siblings so much. I would say, like, PC by far. I've had much more fun with PC than I have with any other console or anything like that. Just my experience alone. So PC is king for me.
I didn't start PC gaming until about a decade ago. It was just because, like, I really got into playing World of Warcraft. My older brother turned me on to it, you know. World of Warcraft, man.
Yeah, that's a dangerous topic.
I started
MMOs. Oof.
I started playing like in the middle of Wrath of the Lich King, you know, and that's just what got me freaking hooked. That was such a good expansion. But before that, it was mostly just console. But I would PC game every now and then. But like the only games that I would play is like Oregon Trail, or it's this one game called Rome or whatever, and then this tank game called Recoil. And I played StarCraft Brood War just a little bit, but internet was expensive back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And you had the dial up, you know.
DSL
so,
dial up.
Playing Brood War was kind of hard. It was like one of the first online games that you could actually play with other people, you know, but it was hard.
So I guess another good topic we can segue off of that one with what's the first multiplayer online game that did it for you like that?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna transition real quick. I think it's all good, so I'll be right back. But you gotta go. Continue.
Definitely WoW. Definitely WoW.
Yeah, WoW. Okay.
See, I'm so old school. I played Counter-Strike when it was a half. So
I remember playing CS Source. I do remember that.
Like all those old Half-Life mods were such great games. There was Counter-Strike, there was Firearms. If you didn't play Firearms, if you got shot, you bled out.
Yep.
You had to find bandages to bandage yourself up.
Wait, is that what the CS and CS:GO means? Counter-Strike?
Yeah, Counter-Strike.
Yes.
Wow.
I've never
Yeah.
played that game.
Wow.
I'm such a fucking boomer.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No. Those two words do not correlate together. I've never played that game. I'm such a boomer. No, if you played that game, you're a boomer. That's how that works.
Yeah.
That's the correlation there.
That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
I played that game.
Newer though, like I never knew that's what
CS:GO
it
is
was.
fairly newer, but
I played it when Counter-Strike was new.
hot minute.
I've never played it. I've never played it. My bad.
It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, a lot of those old like first-person shooters PC were started. Like,
Yeah.
The second I realized I could play with people that weren't my friends, and I didn't even have to talk to them, like just typing in the game chat, talking shit.
Modern Warfare 2.
That was always fun. Yep.
Modern Warfare 2.
Warfare 2.
That was the jam when I was a youngin. That was my online go-to of choice. Like, don't get me wrong, I played WoW, I played RuneScape, I played all that shit on PC. But
It had gun game, right? That one, Modern Warfare 2.
I
Did it have
believe
gun game, or is it-
so. I don't remember, but that was my heyday for multiplayer. That's where it all started. And, we always
Or
joke about
Halo.
the trash talking lobbies. Yeah, Halo too. Oh boy, oh boy.
Kids today wouldn't last a second in a Modern Warfare 2 level.
Yeah, bro. Oh my
It'd be too
goodness.
sensitive.
Yeah.
How many times somebody told me that they fucked my mother? Or
Yeah.
how many racial slurs I heard?
Oh yeah, the 13-year-olds coming in screaming profanities left, right, and center. Like, oh, okay.
That's also one of the things that turned me off of that, because it's like I just can't do it. This is
I just don't care.
not. Yeah, but I just don't want to listen to it. So I'd
fair.
rather just not do the thing and have to deal with it.
See,
Just still deal with it.
but getting that emotional reaction for me, because I'm not gonna toot my own horn and say I've always been amazing at video games, but when I sink a serious amount of time into things, I do progress. Especially when it's specifically something I looked for. Modern Warfare 2, 10th Prestige, level 70, all day, every day. I was a king out there. I was slaying kids. So I would sit there and I would sauce on them, bring out the fucking quick scopes, intervention. And they would get mad as hell. I can tell you that. And just hearing them rage is just an ego trip and then some. So, that was something I always kind of looked for, but
I don't really consider myself good at video games. I just like doing it.
Yeah.
Like the one time I actually felt like a badass though was when I made platinum the first 2 seasons of Overwatch, and then everybody else tells me, but everybody made platinum the first 2 seasons of Overwatch because the competition system was broken.
yeah. Yeah, but it's still an achievement. At the end of the day, it is still an achievement, And that's But what does that say about the people who didn't make it,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy didn't make it.
And then it's funny because you look at the analytics for League of Legends, right? By no means am I fucking good at that game. But I said high gold, and I'm still above 80% of the fucking player base.
True. I don't know. I'm jealous. I'm jealous though. Like I look at your records sometimes and I'm just like, okay.
If you looked at it recently, it's nothing that crazy.
I mean, it's better than what I do. So like.
Although that last game I played last night with Muffin, that was a carry syndrome game. That was a mid kingdom right there.
Did he get drunk and do his let's go?
No, we weren't drinking. And speaking of which, hopefully more to look forward to tonight. We're gonna be doing Clash, hopefully.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we'll see. Hopefully, we still need a final
We can
5th
get
member.
enough people.
Yeah, Disturb's in, by the way, Nick. So
Okay. I mean, if you guys can find someone for without, but we'll talk about that later.
yeah, that's after this, but
You said
Gaming
MMOs, right?
yeah, MMOs, yeah. Like, what's the first multiplayer game that online that just absolutely did it for you?
Oh, 100% MapleStory for me, dude.
Hey, okay.
MapleStory was the game for me.
Story.
My brother was really into it. My sister got into it. And then I think I was in 2nd grade or 3rd grade when it came out or something like that. Could be 1st grade. I remember we were doing the beta and then we're playing it and it finally releases. And I'm just after school every single time I'm on my computer, I'm playing with my brother, right? And I remember there was this one night I'm playing and my brother goes to sleep. He said, just help me level up. So I'm leveling up for him. and a person walks up to me in the game like, hey, you know, you can get this really cool item. All you have to do is give me everything in your inventory, including the money, and you'll get the item. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. Like me being the super
Lord,
gullible kid I am,
I
give him everything. And yeah, you can just imagine what happens. I'm
trimming armor for free at the Grand Exchange. That's what I just heard right there. Trimming rune armor
yeah,
at the Grand Exchange is what I just heard. I fell for it. I ain't gonna lie. We all fell for some of that dumb shit.
Sure.
Yeah,
but definitely learned a lesson there. But Maple Story, so many memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, hype trains though, love them, hate them, however your stance on them. What's the one you fell for, and which one hurt the most?
Hype trains.
Yeah, hype train. As like, in, not in terms of like streaming, and I mean that in like in regards to the release of a piece of content, a video game, a piece of hardware that you were super excited for, and then you finally get your hands on it, and it's just a heaping pile of shit, more or less.
For me, it was probably Cyberpunk, and it's just because like I wanted the game so bad, it looked so cool, but my laptop couldn't handle it. Just couldn't.
I got one that's equally, and it came out around the same time. Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers was like I was like, oh man, this game is gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Avengers.
Angry Joe Show for that one for me. I caught wind of that one early because I was like, I could actually kind of get behind this. This seems like a cool gameplay loop. You know, I can kind of dig it, but yeah, I caught wind of that dumpster fire early on. I was like, nah. And that's definitely like one of the things I've noticed too is I wouldn't say it's more of a conscientious effort on my part whenever it comes to new things coming out. I usually wait now instead of actually jumping into things. For me, the biggest one that hit hard, Anthem.
Oh yeah,
Anthem. Yeah. I was super excited for that because I love looter shooters. That's right up my alley. Destiny like too because that was mid swing of Destiny, full swing on that. I was a fucking gamer on Destiny. I'm not even gonna lie. I put an absurd amount of time into that, but it reflected because I was top of the leaderboards for when it come to raid clears on a couple of raids. I had top 30 raid times for world's first on quite a few of them actually. Was one of those people who was abusing the Vex Mytho class when that first came out because I beat that hard raid day 2 with my team. I got a Vex Mytho class. They were like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then we did Crucible that day, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." This is God. That's what it is. All right. Just couldn't lose with it. It was impossible. You have decent aim. You hit two taps to the chest and then one to the dome. Dead every time. And it was like that. And then they nerfed it. And I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, like
find something new to exploit.
Yeah, pretty much. Anthem though. Oof. That one hurt because it came from a studio too that I like. BioWare was a studio. Yeah. Really good studio.
It had everything. It had everything to be good because it was like game as a service. It
had so much potential, and the concept too. Like it's beautiful as a whole.
Yes,
the game is beautiful. The concept behind it is beautiful. Fighting in these more or less Iron Man suits, of customizable suits that just do badass shit 24/7. You're just flying around doing all sorts of cool combat tricks and so on and so forth. And then they just botched everything about it. The loot system was garbage and then some. Absolutely useless. You just got ripped off. Forced matchmaking. Holy shit! Why?
Yeah,
why?
I hate that in sorts of games.
Yeah, like
people. I don't want to play with people.
Yeah, like let me, if I want to be a masochist, let me challenge something that's stupid hard by myself. Because that became a very common theme for me because I would get bored of games if they weren't a challenge. So like Destiny, I was running raid solo. I was soloing shit if it was possible. Because I just wanted to. It's just, an achievement. It's egotistical. It's like, hey, I soloed this shit. What you know about that? But like, oh my god, they just murdered it. The game buggy as hell too on release. That was another. That's another common trend in AAA titles nowadays too. Is like you have all this money, all this time in development, all these massive studios working behind them, of teams of like 50+ people of developers. How are you releasing a game that is so broken? It's genuinely like eggs on the curiosity.
Yeah,
it
really does.
It doesn't make sense. And then you look at indie titles that have been in works for years and years, and they release this polished product that you just from day one, right out the gate, you're just loving life. Slay the Spire, perfect example for me. That game is fucking amazing. Granted, it's not overly complex, but I've never had an issue with it.
That's that game. Watching you play that, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely one of the more cool card games that I've seen people
Absolutely,
play.
yeah.
It looks really neat how you have like your little dungeon or whatever, and your character is going at it, and then like you have the cards. Like I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, well, look at it too. Like, there's nothing crazy complex about it. There's not even like animations for the really anything. It's just a simple little sprite shift with a little pixel effect. That's it. But is it a deterrent by any means? No, you look at it and you're like, I'll fuck with it. But yeah, so what are your experiences with the hype disappointment, Mr. Brando, Mr. Nick, whichever one of you is ready?
Beyond Avengers and like you said, Anthem. Anthem was a big one. I am routinely, and we said we were routinely disappointed. FIFA every year.
FIFA. You notice the key continuing effort there, and it begins with an E, ends with an A.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit of a correlation.
It's an abusive relationship. I'm stuck in it.
Yeah.
But yet they offer the one thing I like to do is play sports games.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't necessarily relate on that front because sports games aren't my massive cup of tea. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely a couple that have absolutely hit home with me. What was it? MLB The Jam on the Wii.
Oh
yeah. Oh, that was a game, man. I spent some time on that. That was tight. I can't remember what it was. It was football. I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't Madden, wasn't NCAA, it wasn't any of them. It was one of those like off brands. It was like the street ones. I can't remember what it was. It might have been, was it Street?
NFL Street?
Maybe? No.
Was it Blitz?
Might have been Blitz. I think it was Blitz.
Blitz was hot in the streets for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, and then they just like had that one gimmick that they just kept on over.
Yeah.
And then those arcade sports titles kind of went the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah.
But as a failed athlete at heart, like I sign up every year, I game every year. I'm thinking it's going to be something different.
No.
And it's not.
No.
It's not. I'm just like...
Yeah, y'all are about to laugh at me. I don't play sports games at all, so when I was working at GameStop, one of the new FIFA games had come out, and my coworker was trying to ask me about FIFA, and I knew so little about it that I actually called it FIFA the first time, and I was like, what's FIFA?
FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA. That's not that bad. What about you, Nick? What's your biggest regret, basically?
One of the biggest ones I would say is I guess there wasn't too much hype for it, but hype within the community. Maple Story 2, still on the Maple Story thing.
There's a key theme there.
There is a key theme there, yeah. But it kind of went to shit. Like the game, it was really cool when it came out, but there's not much to do. It seemed like it was a rush job, and it showed. And then it kind of just got stuck there for the longest time, and then interest fell really sharply. Like it did like a really super up down, like within a span of like 2 weeks, and then eventually now it's not even like the server's down now, and then they're not doing anything with it. A little disappointing given how well Maple Story has done, like over the years. Like it's been up there, it's been down, revived, down again, and
yeah. Well, I guess a tandem off of that too. For prolonged series, for example, what's something that you knew was a piece of shit, but you still played it anyways? You kind of already answered that one a little bit, Brandon, with FIFA. For me, it was Destiny. Destiny 2 came out, and I'm like, yeah, I already know this is going to be garbage, but I'm probably still going to play it anyways, And I was
trying to figure out that move like for like the longest time because like when they were first pitching the first Destiny, this is a 10-year project.
Yeah, the 10-year plan.
3 years later. Here's Destiny 2.
Well, like Destiny. Love it, hate it at the same time. Definitely nowhere near as bad as Tarkov. Tarkov is without a fucking doubt my favorite game that I love to hate. Because holy shit. I don't think anyone else here has experienced Tarkov, but for anyone listening,
only watched videos.
Yes, anyone who's ever experienced Tarkov and knows how Tarkov goes, Tarkov giveth and Tarkov taketh, and that is all I'm going to say on that front. However, Destiny though, I played Destiny since vanilla beta, I tried getting into the alpha. I wasn't lucky enough, but I played since the beta, and I remember that OG loot cave and farming in the beta for hours on end, trying to get a peek at some of them exotics. You know, I remember that shit. And
break them down and use for later things.
But you know, and then the full game released and Destiny 1 came out and they patched that. I'm like, because there was no consistent way to get high tier loot like that. So that was why people defaulted to that. Then the raids came out. Raids were my cup of tea for sure. Cannot deny that. I ran those religiously. I was carrying noobs through that shit fucking harder than a, Olympic fucking strongman carrying people on his back. But yeah, Destiny, that's a love-hate relationship for sure. League is a little different because that's also a love-hate relationship, but that's more so directed at the community, not so much the game itself. So that's kind of where I stand on that. So yeah, what are y'all's favorite games to love to hate, and the ones that you knew were going to be a piece of shit going into it, but you still said, fuck it, I'll give it a chance anyways?
For me, this game called Mystic Heroes on Gamecube. So you've probably never heard of it because it wasn't popular. But I can't remember who made it, but it was super janky, it glitched out a lot. Like there was really no story. It was like playing Soul Calibur, but without like the one-on-one battles. And it was also a lot like the Hyrule Warriors. It was kind of like that. Okay. Only you weren't going from place to place defending points and stuff. You just had to like suffer through waves and whatnot.
I got an OG throwback of game that was like, not really say hyped, but it had like one trick, and like I was so into it with it. Narc. Remember Narc on the PlayStation 2?
Narc.
So Narc, if those of you not familiar, Narc was a game, I guess, kind of like semi-open world sandbox type stuff, but there wasn't really a lot to do other than bust people and take drugs.
Yep.
And then
it wasn't like open world. It just wasn't linear, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah. You could do whatever you want. It was a sandbox, but there was really only limited to bust criminals and take drugs.
Yep. Yeah,
and then you would take the drugs, and then it would simulate the effect of. I did that for like 2 weeks straight, and then I'm done with this. I tried to play the actual game and then realized, oh, this game sucks.
Yeah. That realization.
Like, nothing to do this.
Yeah. What you got for us, Nick?
Maple Story.
I'm waiting for it. Another Maple Story. Here we go.
I really am, to be honest, thinking like, all right, what other games besides Maple Story would fit this category? To be honest, really, really few. If you do. I found a better answer for the hype, but I mean, I'll bring that up a little bit later. But
you can bring it up now.
To this day, no, I mean, I'll talk about it after this. But to this day, I would say Maple Story at least makes a resurface to my game time at least once a year, if not twice a year. And it's the same thing. Like you literally you sit at the computer, you have your hands set up one over the space bar, one over the control key, and then your arrow keys, and that's what all you do for the next 8 hours. Granted, they've made improvements in the game in terms of leveling, but some people like it, some people don't. It truly is a love-hate because I love the nostalgia it brings. I hate how it literally doesn't offer anything else. It just it feels like it's been like that for ever since it came out. But they got it right the first time, so they got me hooked. The first.
I didn't know that the servers were down. I'm kind of upset now because I had a big ass house in Maple Story too.
Oh yeah. I think they kicked it. They kicked the bucket. If I'm not entirely. Yeah, they did.
Man.
They had like the whole thing, and then like, oh rip. You know?
Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, but the one that was the hype train that I just also. It's kind of still big, I guess, but Phantasy Star Online 2. I was really excited about
PSO.
But the interface really, turned me down. Like it seems so damn difficult to figure out how to interact with it or even how to add friends like into the game. I don't know why. It like took me and my buddies like a good hour and a half Like we don't think we're bad at technology, but shit, that shit was difficult.
You're not
That
a
shit was-
Luddite, but shit doesn't make you feel like one.
Yeah, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like it's in my library, but I haven't touched it since it came out.
We got another throwback along the lines of Phantasy Star Online MMOs that just made I couldn't grasp whatsoever. Star Wars Galaxy. Huge Star Wars fan. I tried to play it. I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Oh,
What am I doing?
Yeah. Oh Lord.
And then like the way they finally made it so you could make yourself force sensitive, but grind to the highest level. I'm like, I'm not gonna put that amount of time into this just to like wield a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because no, I tried
Yeah.
I played it like for 2 weeks, maybe 3, and I'm getting that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh. I mean, that's
I had a hard
another.
time figuring. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, absolutely. You first. I
I
talk
was
enough
gonna
as
say
it is.
I had a hard time figuring out Old Republic. Like I couldn't
Okay.
figure out how to get into dungeons and stuff. Like this MMO is hard. I don't want
See,
to have to
that
play.
they at least streamlined a little bit, like the
Yeah.
looking for group and stuff like that. I thought.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Galaxy was just like, okay, now what?
Mm,
And like they didn't really do a good job of. They didn't do enough handhold. Game,
yeah.
Hmm.
especially for early players. Like it wasn't just it was just like
Mm.
threw you into a random area on a random. Just said okay. And I walked
Tarkov.
around for some bit, and I think somebody shot me. Yeah, okay, similar concept. Yeah,
Tarkov, you get thrown straight into the fucking Shark Tank. There is no hand holding whatsoever. You're on your fucking own. You don't know shit. You're
they
fucked.
assume you know what you're signing up for.
No, they don't. No, they just throw you in it because that's what the developers are. For those of you who don't know, Escape from Tarkov, kind of battle royale-ish, survival looter shooter-ish. It's a very unique concept on its own, made by a very small team of Russian developers who do not give a fuck. Easiest way to put it. The learning curve on that game, right? Most learning curves are like, you start out base player, they got you a little bit of hand holding, and then they just kind of ease you into it, right? And you get up, and then you hit your skill tiers up here. Tarkov, it's just boop, right out the fucking gate. There's no hand holding, there's no tutorials, there's nothing, no info. So you have to research on your own. You have to look to experienced players who already know what they're doing to figure out what the hell you're doing. Not exactly a very intuitive experience for a new user. So it's a very niche game. Again, though, favorite game to hate to love. It's like heroin. You just keep going back even though you know you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's killing you.
Yeah, pretty much.
My soul.
Yeah, to say the
Speaking of
least.
battle royale games, like, did you ever think that would be like one of the biggest things in gaming? That trend came out of nowhere.
I mean,
all of a sudden Fortnite is huge, and then
so yeah,
every game has a battle royale mode.
It took off, yeah, for sure, absolutely. I was playing Fortnite story mode before battle royale was even announced. I was playing that shit, and I loved it. I had a fucking whale of a time. So when they announced that shit, my buddy's like, "Hey, bro, get on this shit." I'm like, "Okay, all right," and here I am. And season 1, season 2 had an absolute blast, and then PUBG, the PUBG train. I was already stoked for that, ran like dog shit, but it was there. It was good.
Really
I had fun with it, yeah. But again, small indie team. Look at the Arma mods that come out and the games that come off of Arma mods, DayZ, and we're not gonna. Never mind. Shit like that, like it's crazy. Like games that start out in a mod, that's not a concept that's unfamiliar to gaming. And then these small dev teams of indie developers are just like, you know what? Let's kick this up a notch. But then like battle royales like Warzone taking off and continuing to be a huge success even today, even though the battle royale mode has realistically like lost a lot of its glamour per se throughout the years. Apex, that's been around for what, 8-9 years now, and it's still going strong. I love it. I'm playing it again. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm not huge on battle royales in the first place, but like that does it for me. I enjoy it. But that's because it's flushed out. The movement's good, and with this most recent patch, there's actually been a research of bugs, and it's kind of entertaining at times. You just kind of laugh at it. But I guess that's the Skyrim concept as a whole, where you play a buggy piece of shit game, but because the games don't kill the game for you, they usually kind of add to it, and it's kind of a good thing, but then you realize you're paying $60 for a buggy riddled piece of shit. So it's like,
Yeah, definitely when first played like PUBG and Fortnite, like hearing the concept from my friends, like I had to sell me hard because I was like looking at it and I was like, this doesn't look like fun. Like, why? What the heck is this? This wasn't really our type of game. But when we played it, actually playing it yourself, like I definitely saw the appeal, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is gonna be kind of big because that competitive feel, especially putting 100 people down, one man win, like one team survive, like oh shit. And they hit the money on it for sure.
I mean, I guess it stems from like the instant gratification concept.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where it meets that end, because there is a sense of achievement in, you know, beating out an entire lobby of 100 fucking gamers. 100, like that's no small feat.
Yeah.
And so you see people wearing those Vic Roys, like fucking badges of honor, as the kids call it nowadays. Vic Roys, yeah.
Make me feel old.
Yeah, right. I mean, the thing that. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm super bad. That's me.
To be honest though, like I really hate games that have like the battle royale, and it's just because I am dog shit fucking awful at FPSs or any kind of shooter game. You know, so like I'll try to play the Fortnite battle royale, you know, and I'll just be murdered. Yeah. So I have a really rough time, you know, like I tried playing Warzone with Boss a couple weeks ago, and we were doing 2v2s, and he was just trying to show me the ropes, and I thought it would be a lot like playing, you know, like team deathmatch or something like that, you know, and I was dead fucking wrong. You know, but like what you said, I started out playing Fortnite on the Save the World version of the game, and that was so much fun for me, so much fun. I still play it to this day whenever I can. Like I'll play it by myself, or you know, like if I have friends that have it, like I'll play it then too. But battle royale is something else, man.
For sure. It's definitely a unique cup of tea that's not for everyone, without a doubt.
And it's super toxic too, like the community. Oh my god.
I don't think the three of us can really speak on that behalf as consistent League players. I don't think we have a voice in that opinion.
True though.
Because
League is
widely
extra toxic.
regarded as the most toxic community in gaming. Yeah.
So true.
But I have fun with it, so personally.
I just the second probably would be the Overwatch community.
Yes, Overwatch is a very close second, yes.
You fuck up in a round of Overwatch, you will get people to hate you quick. I've had it happen to me. I lost concentration for 1 second, I was focusing on something else, and we lost the round, and like borderline death threats, like go fucking kill yourself. I'm just like, it's
League.
a game.
League, ready for this? The non-competitive game modes in League, which are just the for fun game modes that have absolutely no stakes behind them other than win or loss. And you think about losing things, and people get ego, and then some. And they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, are you fucking stupid?" Like, I'm not going to say the more colorful words.
You know how to play that.
Exactly. Like, you should never fucking play that again. Like, oh, okay. Well, it's called having a bad game, but sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Delete your account. Uninstall.
Or
your garbage.
My favorite one from back in the day. I don't see it that much anymore. You should refund that skin.
You should refund
that skin.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Like, bro, you should refund that skin. You don't belong in that champion.
Wow.
One of those super passive aggressive comments.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Oh wow. Yeah, that's definitely a trip. To shift a little bit more back onto the streaming side of things though, what is your favorite piece of hardware for streaming? Singular piece preferably, but if it's going to be a network system, because certain pieces don't function as well without a network, so be it. But what is the one go-to piece that you would recommend to everyone from your setup?
A Stream Deck is so worth the money you pay for it. I'm not even gonna lie. But other than that, I can't really speak on setups because I do stream from my laptop, and I've got the HP Pavilion gaming laptop, and it only runs on a 1060 GTX. So until I get my PC built, you know, which is in progress.
motion. What he said
In progress.
Yeah. In progress because of the like it's got to be put on hold because of the great GPU shortage of 2020 and 2021.
Silicon shortage, not even just GPUs, silicon as a whole.
Yeah.
It's abysmal right now.
Yeah. But I've got my tower case in transit, so it should be here by the 23rd. I've got everything else, my motherboard, everything is cool, you know. Mr. Celestial Sun here totally hooked it up with the PC build. So
I was gonna shameless plug myself. You ain't gonna have to do that.
Yeah. So
my nice $4,000 paperweight behind the green screen right there.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I can't wait for GPUs to finally start, you know, coming out again, being available. But
hopefully
Stream Deck for sure. Stream Deck for sure.
Even like I was gonna ask, like, there's a lot of people also in your position, like who just stream off a laptop, and we all have to start somewhere. Like
budget setups.
You could still say Stream Deck. Yeah. Like, would you say what else really helps you on your stream? Streaming off a laptop. You know, what specific device would you say?
Another thing that I got with my PC build was this Logi camera that Celeste recommended, just because my laptop camera itself like would chug a little bit sometimes, you know, like it wouldn't output as quickly as this other one does, and like the quality is so much cleaner. Granted, it's not the most or most expensive or like the best quality camera, but it serves its purposes. I mean, obviously you guys can see me, like I look so much better, you know, than I did off of the regular laptop camera. So so definitely invest in a separate webcam if you can afford it. You know, there's some really good ones out there that aren't expensive. You know, but yeah, definitely invest in an outside webcam, just because the laptop cameras are kind of garbage.
And for those of you who don't know what camera specifically she's talking about, the C920 series from Logitech.
Yes.
C920, the C922. I use the C922 Pro. That's what I recommended to her. It's the more modern version. It's a bit more expensive at about 100 USD on average, if what you can find it for, if you can find it, because right now they're impossible to find. But the C920, the older model, $50 for the most part, if you can find them. Perfect camera to get you started. You don't need anything crazy. I'm sitting over here on, you know, a bit more high-end setup, which realistically I shouldn't have invested in if I were being wise about it, but because I am a audiophile and I want my viewer experience to be as great as possible, even though I don't have that many viewers, it's something that I push for. So, you know, my case is a little different also too, because I have a lot of disposable income, so fair enough, you know, on that end. Hence why, you know, $400 microphone comparative to the Blue Yeti that everyone else is using, that I also used for a very long time myself. So on and so forth.
This was the Blue Yeti here. Like, I got this for Christmas. I like it a lot, you know. It's definitely next to the Stream Deck. This microphone is probably my biggest flex on my stream setup, and it's just because the sound quality is super good, because I was just using this right here, this my headset.
Oh yeah,
microphone.
You're going from a headset to a Blue Yeti.
It's night and day difference.
Yeah, but I gotta say, like, after using the Yeti for X amount of time now, I cannot wait to upgrade. Not that I don't like the Yeti, but it's just that I know there's so much better out there now, and like once you get a taste of a little bit of niceness, you just kind of want, exactly what Celeste is pointing at, you know. So
sure, SM7B, the golden standard for pretty much everyone who streams. Not necessary by any means, but for those of you who are pushing for that higher end audio quality.
That reminds me, Starshine upgraded his mic too. I think it's the Shure MV7 or something like that.
Yes, and the MV7 podcast mic. 10 out of 10 as well. Yes, 10 out of 10 as well. Shure makes amazing audio products. There's a lot of other options too. Don't feel like what we're suggesting by any means.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just shit that we have personal experiences with. Yeah, because I use the Yeti too. I use the Yeti as well for 2 years. So, Brando, I noticed you kind of wanted to cue in there. Go ahead.
I do, because as somebody who played a lot of console games, and that was how I first.
And that's how you first cut out? and lost this entire
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, lean into your microphone a little bit.
A fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. So when I first started doing off a console, and I was always wondering how I got Razer Ripsaw cap, and that changed everything because now I could. It's so easy to use. Everybody says I don't see it.
Silence.
My Ripsaw.
Silence. I'm pretty sure what he was talking about was the issues with the Ripsaw, because a lot of users have a lot of bad experiences with the Ripsaw. What I've noticed is it's the Silicon Lottery at its best there. A lot of the Ripsaws, when they work, they're fantastic. Comparatively to the Elgato series. Yes, exactly. His works perfectly fine, and it's amazing. However, other people buy the Ripsaw, and they have absolutely no luck getting it to work whatsoever for whatever reason, whether it's Silicon Lottery, whether it's an actual hardware issue, so on and so forth. But yeah, no, I understand completely where you're coming from with that, and that's just technology in general. You're playing the Silicon Lottery every time you buy it.
Yeah. Sometimes
you luck out, other times you don't. You know.
Also, I mean, I will jump in on the C920 gang. That's. I look like a movie star compared to what I was using before. So, yeah.
Other budget-friendly options for those of you curious: pick up a Elgato Stream Link or Cam Link rather. My bad. And you can buy a cheap GoPro, used GoPro off of Amazon or eBay, whatever your platform of choice is to buy off of it. Do that. That's actually a fairly cheap setup to get you an actual camera set up, and that's starting you down your upgrade path as well. So if you were to ever buy a nice mirrorless or DSLR camera, you already have your Cam Link set up. All you have to do is just pick up the new camera.
Also, another flex. Shout out to my Astro headphones. My ginormously expensive but yet very comfortable headphones.
Yes,
it feels like my head's being nestled in a pillow.
Yep.
Yeah. Comfort is king. Comfort. You gotta have the comfort, especially streaming.
Yeah, for those long sessions. Like this is coming from someone who's a 14-hour plus streamer. Yeah, and it's not uncommon for me to do those longer streams either. You know, so comfort is king with me, and hence why I'm rocking nice Bear Dynamic DT990 Pros, $250 headset. But like Brandon said, it's like having pillows on your ears. It's not comfortable. You don't get that. Like it's not
ear
compression.
Sweat? You ever have like ear sweat with like the fake leather shit around the thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No ear sweat.
So yeah, Brando, what's your favorite piece of stream gear? What's your go-to?
I put the Ripsaw. I love my Ripsaw. I love my Yeti. My monitors are actually pretty good too. I got a Scepter monitor and a ViewSonic monitor, which I went on Amazon. I read the reviews. They all said they were good. And apart from a small problem that I had with one of them, where back it
just went silent.
I'm definitely
the
what it did.
Stream. I'm sorry.
It
just went silent. Yeah, yeah. That's
sure?
that's what we're.
Are you sure you love your Yeti?
Yeah, seriously. Oh goodness. Oh, that thing is giving you guff today, man.
I'm done. I'm done.
I swear it's just Discord.
I don't know.
It
could be. Yeah,
it could be.
Discord's being a butt today.
What about you, Nick? What's your go-to? Is a bit more of along the lines of Brando, a bit more intermediate setup.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, the mic is good. The if you have everything into like you said, if we're in the intermediate stage, I would definitely say my favorite piece, especially having everything set up, is my either monitor mount or monitor razor, because it goes a long way, especially like I said, if we're sitting for a long hour. It's not like the traditional piece of hardware that people would like to have or to use, but it makes a big difference, especially if you're looking down playing a game for a long time, or like looking up your posture and sitting long hours. And if I were to caveat off of that too, definitely my chair. The chair is wonderful. Like he's got the
flex and the casual Herman Miller over here.
Yeah, just a little bit, but
that ergonomic design.
Oh man, before like the chair was okay. Like I think I even have not even pull out, but it's the for me the leather doesn't work, because even if I'm not gaming, if I'm like just walking about and it's like a casual 70-something degrees, I'm already sweating. I sweat a lot. Not even the front. So if I'm playing a game, heated, my freaking like my legs and everything's sweating. So the leather is no good. So I had to go with mesh. And if you sweat like me, this you got to upgrade the chair. Chair made all the difference. All the difference in the world.
Yeah. I can definitely attest to that as well. Although I'm not on a nice Herman Miller, I'm on a nice cheapo faux gaming chair, off-brand garbage, $120 chair that I've had for quite a while now. Ended up picking up some seat cushions for, but as someone who has lumbar issues, the Herman Millers have definitely been appealing. The Embody specifically, but pretty penny nonetheless. Not that I'm in really any position to talk, considering I'm sitting in front of basically what's the equivalent of a brand new car in cost. So, take everything I say with a grain of salt in that note.
I can definitely relate to the butt and the back sweat though, because like I'm sweating right now. Like my lower back is sweating, but I want to say, like, since I live in Hawaii, and my bedroom, there's no AC. Like it gets really hot in this room. I mean, not right now, obviously, but like we've had a pretty chill winter, here. But like on the hot days, I suffer sitting in these leather chairs or the faux leather chairs. It's freaking awful. Like I'll get up and my ass will be wet. Like I'll have to like change my pants.
Swamp ass is fierce for sure. Swamp ass is fierce.
No, like to this day, every single time, like I remember, like in high school, like I'd be sitting in a chair, and then, like, let's say the period changes, and then I get out, and then someone sits in my chair, and they just give me this look, and I'm like, my bad. Like I didn't mean to make it all look moist or damp or anything. I can't help it. It's who I am.
Well, for me, recommending a single piece of stream gear on the high end, that's really hard to do. Because once you get more into the technology that you're supporting your stream with, you're going to notice that it's more of an ecosystem for individual sections, right? I have my audio ecosystem, I have my video ecosystem, not just in terms of cameras, but also in terms of like my PCs and everything involved in between. Like there's a whole ecosystem. You can see behind me, I got that light right there, green screen. I have multiple lights in front of me, and then a nice camera as well, tandeming off of that. And then you look at my audio setup, it's not just exclusively a nice condenser microphone that's $400 on its own. There's $500 hardware supporting it on this end. There's another fucking $300 sound card driving everything from audio on my PC. It's a whole ecosystem that I have meshed together, and that's kind of what you're looking at in terms of like upgrades down the line. And that's why it's nice for a lot of these pieces, because some of them tend to facilitate those upgrades a lot better than others, and that's one of the things I've noticed. Like I mentioned with the cam link earlier, you pick up that nice 4K cam link for a GoPro, because you're on a budget, but you can drop $200 for a nice setup. You're already starting down that upgrade path because you have that cam link, so you go to pick up that DSLR or that nice mirrorless camera way down the line when you got $600 to blow or $800 to blow if you're going real ballsy, or even more so because there are some insane cameras for some really nice high fidelity picture. You're already started down that train. Granted, it doesn't seem like much because it's just a simple $120 piece that interfaces everything for you, but that's it. For me, for a high-end thing, the one piece of streaming gear that I could say I definitely couldn't live without anymore, the Go XLR, DC Helicon Go XLR. And that is a part of the audio interface that I use. So it's the Shure right here, the microphone interfaces directly into my Go XLR along with all other audio coming from my PC, coming from everything. It interfaces everything, and I have volume control on the fly, along with a lot of other fun stuff that unfortunately I don't have samples anymore, because that's one of the big things that I used for it was sampling. People saying dumb shit was always a fun time, so people always had to watch what they say.
That was supposed to be the best part of the podcast. That was supposed to be the draw of the game.
I know. It's unfortunate because I don't have them anymore, because I am unfortunately on my second PC, because my nice $4,000 paperweight behind the green screen, which I'll actually grab for y'all here in a second just to flex that off. decided that it doesn't want to work anymore. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting with that one. So I'm on my secondary PC, another luxury again, but that's because I'm also a wannabe PC builder looking to build a business out of that. And so I have PCs laying around, but that's again just my cup of tea. I've had this PC here for like 2 years. I meant to send it to my buddy 2 years ago when I built it because it was his present. It's still here because, you know, shit going on his end, shit going on my end, just never happened. Do I feel bad about it? A little bit, but now it's my second baby, so...
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking with him, like, he's not upset about it at all because he's got a lot of shit going on that I'm not going to delve into detail because that's just a lot of personal information. But yeah, needless to say, he's not missing out not having it per se. Sucks, but I mean, I got a backup. Can't complain on that note. But yeah, the Go XLR, and they have the mini version, which is half the price. More than likely going to be more than suitable for everyone's needs for the audio interfacing side of things. It is fucking fantastic piece of hardware. Good luck getting your hands on one currently in the whole swing of everything because the silicon shortage and all that, and because limited models are always produced. It is amazing. There are definitely alternatives that you can go to too. Like the Boss OG, he's working on some alternatives that are on the more budget-friendly side of things.
Love that guy.
Yep, another amazing person right there. And then it's also not just the hardware of the Go XLR itself, it's also the software that comes with it because it allows you a lot of control. And that is the big thing with the stream side of things. Like it just interfaces all of my audio through to my stream with one source. So I don't have to sit there and fuddle with multiple digital sources through OBS or whatever stream software you're using. It's just do it through its own software. And I can just control everything on the fly. So much easier. Makes my life a piece of cake. And it delivers superb audio quality because it's made by people who actually, you know, are from the music industry, and that's why.
Yep.
But you know, $500 price tag, nothing to scoff at for sure. Yeah,
That's definitely on my list for sure. That and the mic, either that or the mic, whichever one comes first. But we'll see.
both.
Yeah.
Both at the same time.
Yeah. Think it once, be done with it, bro. Because then, like, from that point on, right? If you get both of them, you're done with audio. You're good to go. You're set for the rest of it.
That is true.
You know, and it doesn't have to be the Shure SM7B. It can be any other number of amazing mics. As long as it's got an XLR cord and is a proper condenser mic, you're chilling.
Yeah. Like, you definitely want to get something, though, that'll pay for itself in the end, though. Because, like, sometimes with a lot of these purchases, I have, like, buyer's remorse.
Yep.
You know, like, did I spend too much money on this? Did I splurge too much on this? You know, like, I don't really have a lot of money, but should I get this anyway? You know, was it a good idea to buy this? You know? But like with the Stream Deck, you know, I wasn't expecting to pay as much as I did for it, but like, you know, when I did, like I said, you definitely want to get something that'll pay for itself, and I really impressed. Was not expecting that thing to change my stream game up so much, you know, but like it totally did. Like when I have it plugged in, I mean, obviously I'm running a laptop, so I can't have too many things plugged in at once. I've got this USB hub thing, which is necessary. You know, it's got four USB female slots in it, you know, and I've only got 2 USB slots in my laptop, so
yeah, even I don't have enough USB ports.
Yeah. USB out the wazoo, bro.
That and actual outlets too. I need to. I'm probably going to be dropping like $300 on another splitter here soon to upgrade to a 20 port splitter because 12 ain't cutting it.
We got the 20 port and it's nice. That thing is heavy.
But I
too.
hog that all for myself. Oh goodness. That's so that bear that in mind too. There's a lot of outside costs that you're looking at too whenever you're talking about stream gear. Powered USB ports are massive. Everything takes USB. Everything. So a nice USB splitter, more or less, because you can daisy chain up to 128 devices off a USB, for those of you who don't know. Universal serial bus, going into the technobabble side of things. I'm a nerd. Fight me. Basically, like having an independently powered one that you plug into a wall outlet and supplies power to all these devices is key, because everything takes USB. You're talking microphones, you're talking cameras, you're talking all of your other interfaces, Stream Deck, not to mention your mouse, keyboard, all the normal peripherals you have with a PC, or, you know, because typically most of the time you're streaming off a PC. And for those of you who don't have a PC yet, more than likely you're looking at getting one. So there's a lot of outside costs that you're not going to be factoring in initially that do add up, you know. Splitters as well. Just a simple splitter with surge protection, a quality one, is going to run you a pretty penny for a decent sized one, you know. And then when you start talking about like my sort of end of setup where you have lights plugged in, you know, I've got fucking 3 in front of me and, you know, 2 behind me, just to power the green screen and make sure everything has good lighting quality, so that way my picture quality works and the green screen actually functions proper. You're looking at easy 20 outlets required. And if you don't have a nice splitter,
oh, sorry. Sorry. I was gonna ask Brando what camera he was using, because I remember you said that his camera is what's providing that background.
C920 gang.
C920.
C920, and then I use
XSplit
VCam to blur out my apartment because I don't want to see people live at the squalor. Even.
Here, here, I'll grab that nice paperweight for everyone.
Oh yeah. So sad. It's such a pretty looking PC too. Like he put a lot of work into it.
It is.
Meanwhile, I bought my computer from Best Buy.
Best Buy. Hey, Best Buy's been treating me and Starshine really nice here lately. Oh god.
It don't work.
You have a custom water cooler.
Yeah. His PC is so nice. He put so much time and effort and money into that thing, and it just fucking took a dump on him.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah. $4,000 for the paid.
PC.
Yeah, rest in peace. She's going to be on the bench for quite a while. Sad days.
Damn.
Yeah.
So shitty, bro.
Yep.
Like I remember when you first showed me that thing, I was like, oh my god, it looks so nice. And you're like, yeah, I spent $4,000 putting this bitch together.
And again, that's
So,
not
like,
including those small facets that are outside of that. Granted, again, that's an extreme scenario right there. That is a serious piece of hardware. Not that the one that I'm using now is anything less to scoff at, but you know, this doesn't have the extra bells and whistles that does. You know, full custom loop on liquid for CPU and GPU. All sorts of other nice little tidbits that really pushed my actual gaming experience as a whole forward massively. Yeah, but rest in peace.
Yeah.
You will be missed for sure.
The sadness in your voice.
Yeah.
It radiates through the Discord.
Yeah, I can feel the feels.
That's a piece of my soul right there. That's basically just dead in the water. So.
Oof.
Yeah, I can't tell you the amount of hours that I spent on that, putting it together, building it. But again, that dabbles back to, you know, the level of complexity in there, and it's not going to be something that your everyday user is going to have. But it's, you know, my piece, and as someone who is looking to build a business on computer building, you know, that's a nice showpiece. It's an art form, actually, like when it gets down to it, you know, and that's why I build them the way I do. They need to look good, not only perform well, you know, equivalent in exchange on that front. Granted, it's not a priority. Most people don't care because really, does it matter? No. But I'm extra, so bite my ass.
So extra.
Yeah. Ooh, actually, I guess that's a really good point too. For even for the budget friendly side of things, 2 monitors for your streaming experience. Even if you're on console, 2 monitors. Holy shit, will that make a difference in your world? Having the ability to have multiple applications on the front page of everything on those monitors at the same time will elevate your experience so much more.
You want to hear how dumb I was when I first started streaming?
Oh boy.
I was using the XSplit view or the OBS viewer to view because I didn't know.
You didn't know that.
So I'm like, why is there a delay? Why is there? Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah. I definitely feel that double monitor thing. I remember like when I first started streaming, and I'm a newer streamer. You know, I started doing this at the end of October.
3-year gang.
I would stream from my laptop using my shitty ass webcam, you know, and I would use my phone to interact with chat. and read that. And the delay was just god awful. So for Christmas, Starshine got me the Asus VD249Q. And
you don't need to spell out the jargon because no one's going to understand what it means anyways when it comes to monitor names. They never keep it simple.
But it's a great monitor. I think it's like 140 something hertz or whatever, and like it's phenomenal. It changes the stream game up so much because you have your game on one screen, you have your chat and everything else on the other screen, and you don't have to worry about the delay between your stream and then mobile. So like definitely invest in a second monitor. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace. People are always selling shit for cheaper, than you would find it at the store, Amazon. Even if you find like an older monitor, it doesn't have to be a badass one like the one that I got for Christmas. Like there's so many monitors out there. You could use the old model and still run shit really, really well.
1080p, 60 hertz. All you need.
Yep.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
All you need. The very basic stuff. It's all you need. It'll get you by fine. But yeah, the second monitor, like, and this is coming from someone who's currently on 3 monitors and potentially a 4th if I felt so inclined. I never could go back. No, 3 monitors is the way for my life. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Because I have OBS open on one.
Streaming.
Yeah, streaming especially. Because especially if you're streaming off a PC too. And a mono PC like me, I'm only using the one PC for the setup. I'm streaming. I have OBS up on this monitor here. You can even see this monitor over here where I have all my supplemental information. Usually where I'll have like my reward request queue, Twitch information, my music going, my GoXLR software, all of that over here. And then I can just have just the game on that front main monitor. And it's nice. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't have to ever worry about anything being shown on stream because the only monitor that's ever captured is my main one. And because of that, I just keep it blank and it's just the wallpaper there. Nothing's ever there. Nothing. I don't have to worry about any of that because let's be real. We all have secrets. We all have some things on our PCs that should not be shared, whether it be illicit or otherwise. Not going to talk about it. Yeah.
I do nothing illegal whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can't relate.
What I say, huh?
Those eyes.
Cutting corners? Me? Never.
So
Me illegally streaming pay-per-view events? No.
What?
No.
Real quick, Celeste, can we talk about your Samsung curved monitor? Like, flex, bro. Flex.
So, for those of you who currently don't know what she's talking about, the monitor that I built with this PC, because the way I built this PC was actually using my stimulus package from when I left the military. And I got a $20,000 stimulus because I was permanently debilitated. So for those of you who don't know, we're talking about this 49-inch curved monstrosity here.
Yeah.
Which currently is in 1920 by 1080p by itself, independently, and that's the only thing it's functioning as. But it has the ability for multiple monitor support. I can plug up 2 ports to it and have it function as 2 monitors independently. Or in the case that I like to use it for, typically, whenever I do the multi-monitor side, it's usually I'll have my the feed from my capture card feeding into the monitor, so that way it's feeding into this side, so I have the gameplay right in front of me and OBS right next to it, making it really easy for me to interact with chat, because I do stream from console from time to time. I have my PS4, I have the Switch, I do all that stuff as well, because, you know, exclusives, they're a thing, and they are amazing, and that is what Sony has been killing the game in for a long time now. Nintendo exclusives, obviously, although Nintendo is another beast of burden, per se. But yes, $1,000 price tag, definitely not within a lot of people's reach. But because of the situation that I was in, I was able to splurge a good bit when I built that PC back there, because that's when I bought it at the same time as I built it. Amazon warehouse deal, picked it up for $770 instead of full MSRP for $1,000. Nice little penny save. It definitely has its issues that I've noticed because of that, because they returned it for a reason. Typically going to be the case. So bear that in mind, grain of salt with that. But it's nothing that I can't deal with per se. But yes, definitely a solid monstrosity of a monitor. Oh, also, let's not forget too, again, tandeming off of Nick's comment with the monitor arms. Yeah, I had to buy a very specific monitor arm for this one to support it, because this monitor weighs 33 pounds. The monitor itself, by itself, 33 pounds, because this thing is monstrous. And the monitor arm itself ran me about $150. Comparatively to most monitor arms, which you can pick up for like $20-30. even multi-monitor arms.
Yeah.
But in order for this thing to actually be supported and held in the air, actual hydraulic suspension was necessary. So yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brendo, I
Basically, it's
see
just
you
faulty
laughing your
at that
ass off,
point.
and I
It's
can't hear you.
faulty
You're
media.
muted.
Sorry, that's a little much.
Yeah.
You need hydraulics to support your monitor.
It is literally a
Your monitor
hydraulic
might be too heavy.
gas piston system that supports this thing.
Uh,
Yeah, $150 for
You
that.
have peace of mind at that point because
Absolutely,
honestly,
yeah.
having anything up on there plus 500 plus
Yep.
suspended, you don't want any type of wobbly, any type of nothing.
Yep.
Nothing.
I'm good with compromising
Yeah.
desktops.
Yeah, most people
I'm
are.
good.
Most
I'm
people are.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, because again, like I said, my setup's a lot more on the extreme side. It's a lot of unnecessary things that a lot of people don't need at my level of streaming because I'm not popular by any means. However, I have the ability to, therefore I did. And because I know technology and I love technology, I wanted to spoil myself because, I did 5 years in the military getting fucked every single day. I am permanently debilitated for the rest of my life in many ways. And Zoe, who's also a veteran here, can attest to that as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucked in many different ways that don't show on camera because I intentionally don't show it, but I have my issues. And this is my one piece of mind, my comfort. So I went the extra mile with it. And that's the easiest way to put it. Could I have bought a nice truck instead? Yeah. But I don't leave the house, so why would I? Plus, that's extra money. That's extra money too. That's a lot of insurance money every month. Gas. Like,
Oh yeah.
Do I regret it though? Absolutely not.
Worth.
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 So yeah.
You only live once and you can't take it with you. That's
Yeah.
philosophy when it comes to money.
I guess another good point though to make off of that. Would I buy this monitor again when this monitor dies out? I'm probably not going to. No. Just because the sheer amount of space it consumes, I'm probably just going to opt to pick up 2 monitors instead, or the idea that I've been entertaining of late, a 4K monitor, and a nice one at that, because this thing isn't true 4K, although it is 3820 by 1080p, which is the pixel size, which is horizontally the same as a 4K monitor, but spaced out. But it's not 4K. But 4K would be my go-to for off-stream gaming pleasure, because 4K picture is the way.
Imagine playing Cyberpunk on it too, full decked out.
But again, that's because I have the hardware that can push that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because you're equipped with that, and plus on the 4K on top, it's gonna be something.
It'll be a treat, yeah, for sure. But that's for the future. So,
what's your monitor setup, Nick? What's that looking like?
It's the band of misfits. So I got an random LG gaming one that I got on Amazon. I have a Dell one that was my wife's old monitor because I got her a new monitor. It's it's more definitely business oriented. This monitor, no frills, not much meant for gaming. Definitely picks up a good amount of glare if there's too much light from the back. And I have a really old Dell. Like, it's big. It's like they're all about, I don't even know the size. I'm gonna just guess like 34 inches, maybe. All about the same. But now instead of hooking up 3, I've decided to have my Surface here. Put my Surface laptop here, and then hook it up to the old Dell monitor. But having 3 monitors for sure, because my current PC it could run 3 monitors, but while streaming it could not.
Yeah, it is definitely taxing. Bear that in mind too. There is hardware that you need to have to be able to drive multiple monitors. 2 monitors typically is going to be perfectly fine, but when you're looking for third, you're eating up a lot of RAM, you're eating up a lot of VRAM off of your GPU, just innately by plugging them up. Also, again, tandeming back to the monitor arm thing, another amazing advantage that they have with that, and this is something even I do. I have a cheapo, less than $100 monitor here. It's nothing crazy, 77 hertz, 27-inch widescreen, and because it's on a mounted arm, I'm able to mount it vertically, which is superb for streaming purposes. Reading chat, having any sort of text information laid out, like my Discord is always on there, my OBS is always on there. It is amazing for the amount of information you can display that way. And it's a super cheap premise too, because the monitor arm I bought for it, $30, $77 monitor, and now I have an amazing monitor for all my text reading.
Yep.
I don't have a bottle of water up here. So yeah, that's a simple, cheap way that you could do, because you don't necessarily need to, and that's one of the monitors I've had for years. I've had this thing for 4 or 5 years now, longer than I've been streaming. And then the other monitor I have over here, that's the monitor that I originally had as my main monitor for my old PC, which is currently my test bench in my garage that never sees the light of day anymore. But it's there. You don't need to have 2 crazy monitors. Just buy one really nice monitor and cheap the fuck out on the rest of them if you're not using them for gaming purposes. You don't need symmetry. I only use the one for hardcore purposes. Why bother going big balling on the rest of them? If you got the money, sure, do it. If that's what you feel, not the wise.
It's a pretty picture at the end of the day. Like you could maybe post it, promote it, but truly you don't like you said, you don't need the symmetry. It's
Also, another thought to bear in mind too: the more shit you put on your desk, the harder it is going to be cable management. I gave up on that shit years ago. Mine, for anyone who's seen it, who knows my setup, they know it is an absolute clusterfuck underneath the desk, and even on the desk, it's a clusterfuck because I'm not exactly the most cleanly person. I have a lot of cans, I have a lot of coffee mugs, bottles of liquor as well, quite a few. But that's also because I'm partially an alcoholic, and by partially I mean I definitely am an alcoholic. So, bite my ass. Speaking of which, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Hey, it could be worse. At least you don't smoke at your computer desk, which is
I mean,
well, I mean, it's not the same as the ash and the tar.
It's still bad though.
Good.
No, it's still bad.
Good.
It shows to my fans.
I definitely ash the bowl on my desk.
I used to be a pretty heavy, kind of like a chain smoker, because you get to gaming, and you're sitting here, you're drinking your coffee, and then cigarettes, man, the coffee and cigarettes thing go hand in hand.
Yeah, that association too. I remember that, and I honestly miss that. I still get it to this day. I get that craving hardcore. First cup of coffee in the day when I wake up in the morning, it's like, need that cigarette. I need it.
Yeah.
The same thing with drinking.
I just quit smoking cigarettes after 15 years, and my old PC setup, you could tell, I
gang,
really, my fans were just crusted, and it doesn't matter how much I would sit there with the little air can and try to blow it all out. That tar would gunk it up so bad you would have to actually clean it out yourself. It was just bad.
Friendly PSA to everyone watching on a PC: remember to clean your PC, your fans especially. Your performance actually does take a direct hit by not cleaning it for prolonged periods of time, even if you live in a very allergenic pro-allergenic environment. There's still going to be dust. There's still going to be your skin cells, your dead skin, working its way in there. They collect over the time, especially if you're a smoker, vaping or otherwise. It's going to be nasty. Clean it. I recommend at least semi-annually. Try to. If you're good about it, do it quarterly, but semi-annually should be your minimum. When I changed out the fluid in that PC recently, disgusting. And it was been about a year since I opened that thing up for a cleaning. Disgusting. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's a pain in the ass. Try and be regular. If you have pets especially, the pet dander gets in there and it is nasty. I have clear fans, or the fins on my fans were clear. They were tinted brown. I had to not only hit them with a can of compressed air, but wipe them physically as well with some Kleenex.
Yeah, because the air doesn't cut it sometimes, especially with pets. You gotta wipe it, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to our last topic for today. What's the biggest adversity you face or still currently face in streaming? What is the thing that you struggle with?
Other than myself?
Yourself does not count, no, unfortunately. Streaming exclusively. As a whole, but no, because yes, we all struggle individually with our own, unique personalities. Even I, self-image, especially. That's me. That's the big one. Yeah.
Because I'm I'll set goals for myself. Hey, I gotta get consistent. And then,
you gotta set goals to not cut out through this conversation. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's another one too. I'm not gonna have him punch a hole through the wall during this miracle.
If I didn't punch a hole through this miracle.
Yeah, I know. I hate that my humor is so complex that I can't just say one or two lines. Be funny.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Exactly. I want to be that guy.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No.
That's that one viral video, and that's it. That's your one claim to fame. That's it. It's not worth it. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's another topic to talk about too. We can discuss a little bit afterwards. But yeah, what would you say is the biggest adversity that you face whenever it comes to streaming?
I guess for me, just being a girl that streams, because a lot of the time when I'm streaming, and granted, I'm not trying to like, be completely conceited here, but like I know I'm pretty, you know. I have a lot of guy followers that'll just follow me just because I'm pretty, and it's not because they even care about my content or the games that I'm playing. Like they literally just come on there to flirt with me, and I have a man.
Guilty as
You know.
charged.
I'm very dedicated to my partner and our relationship, and it's unflattering. It's not a compliment to me when people want to come in there and that's the first thing they want to do is be like, yo baby, how you doing?
Yeah, when they try and spit game. Yeah, I mean, like a casual compliment is one thing, but even I've had experiences where people, I don't know their gender, I'm not going to pretend to know, but they've come into my chat and I've heard a couple of times, can I have your babies? And I'm just sitting there. Yeah, exactly, Brando. Yeah, and I'm like, that's an odd one, but okay, no.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those like angry raging feminists, like I can take a compliment and everything, but like if you're gonna come here and watch me, pay attention to what I'm doing, interact with me and talk to me about what I'm actually doing, like like I mentioned at the beginning, like I had some weird people that want to come in there and ask to see my feet and stuff like that. Like I don't stream to be objectified.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a woman in the streaming community and industry, like
thirst culture is real.
Don't be that guy.
Culture.
Yeah, don't be that guy. Like if this is something that I wanted, I would have an OnlyFans. Which I don't because I respect myself a little bit more than that. Sorry. I'm not trying to talk shit, but yeah, that's basically it. Or like if one thing that really bugs me is that if you're doing bad in a video game and somebody wants to hop in your chat and troll you and be like, yo, you're garbage, you're fucking garbage, bro, like they just want to come in and talk shit and troll you. Like, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, be supportive. Be like, yeah, you can do it, like toss out encouragement, like I understand you're trying to be funny, but you're really not funny, and it makes us feel like shit when you do that,
I mean, I guess it really stems from how you handle that as a person as a whole.
True.
For me, seeing those trolls in chat, I run with that shit. That is something I look forward to, but that's because I'm a natural born shit talker, and that is something that I thoroughly enjoy. Like even when me sitting here playing, yeah, exactly. But it's a person to person thing, right? Because even when I'm sitting here playing with Nick and Muffin, right, I'm sitting there shit talking them the entire time, and they usually toss it back, and it's usually a good back and forth.
Yeah.
But it's play. That's the important thing to remember. Some people don't recognize that, and they'll kind of jump on that bandwagon. But yeah, he is fucking dog shit. Yeah, get him. You show him what's up. Like, no, that's not what we're doing here. That's not it. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the whole female streamer thing, topic of discussion, that's a whole nother beast entirely. And I've discussed with Nick, and he knows my opinion on that. And that's something I'm not going to dabble into right now. Maybe we can revisit it towards the end of this conversation.
We could do an anthology series on that topic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. And that's not just me saying that I dislike women. That's not saying I don't like women objectifying themselves in order to gain financially, which there's nothing wrong with that. Genuinely, there really isn't. If that's what your intention is going out for, fine. Albeit power to you, but that's also because I'm not unfamiliar with the whole concept of soliciting yourself. I spent 2 years in Germany. Red light district is a very popular concept over there, and it's not only men and women. And little known fact that some people know about me because I've shared it, and now I'm going to share it on the internet because fuck it, why not? I also worked as a stripper in Germany for about 6 months. I worked as a male stripper, yeah. By no means am I a bisexual, gay, or otherwise LGBTQ
I get that money.
But I did some gay shit. I pretended to be gay on stage with another dude who was comfortable with it, kissing, fondling, all that shit. But it was a show, and it made money, and it made good money.
Right.
I did it to make the money. who am I to knock, a woman, titty streamer, more or less, to put it bluntly,
Yeah.
showing off her assets on stream, playing her cards.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. There really isn't. The issue is that the viewers who are proprietizing that and pushing that thirst culture, as I like to call it, simp culture, in other words, and then pushing it onto streamers who aren't necessarily comfortable with that idea. That's where the line is, and that's where the issue lies. Because that is super prevalent on Twitch, and that's why you look at the vast majority of female streamers who are typically successful. They're usually aesthetically pleasing, and I mean that as in they are attractive to a lot of people, or they have assets that are very distinguishable. And I'm not going to go into more detail on that because I'm trying to keep this as relatively. Yeah, thank you, Brando. Appreciate that. Yeah, even a little bit,
Yeah.
got a little smushing going on, like, oh, honey, you shouldn't have, that sort of thing. Again, nothing wrong with it, but that's what they're pushing for because they know it works for them. But, when that culture bounces back onto people who aren't so comfortable with it, and because that's what the viewers are used to, that's where the issue lies. But that's just Twitch as a whole. Which it's funny when you think about it too, that a lot of the larger streamers who are actually extremely successful on Twitch, they're male, and I'm not pointing out demographic here to be like women are inferior. No, but in the case of like a lot of the larger streamers, they are in fact male, and that's odd to me when you think about it. But do I believe that for proportions, because there's a lot more of the female streamers doing exactly that, where they are soliciting themselves in a sense, showing off their overall numbers, I think outgrosses the individuals who succeed. And that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Brando?
You
know what? I'm just not going to make the joke.
And I think that's wise. I'm pretty sure I know what direction you're going with that
All
joke.
the hands are on the wheels.
Yep, I saw the wheels turning. I'm like, not.
Because of the implications.
Yes, exactly. And I tried to keep that conversation as professional as possible for that exact reason.
They draw these viewers in occasion,
For those of you who don't know what he's saying, because you can't hear him because he's cutting out, basically he's saying that they're intentionally targeting their audience.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Summarize that for
because
you.
of the implications.
Yes, exactly. So back to the topic at hand, though. Nick, what would you say the biggest adversity you face is?
I'd say in terms of
we got Popeye over here.
Oh gosh. In terms of streaming solely, right? The biggest adversity I would say is maintaining like consistent energy throughout the stream, which I struggled with a lot in the beginning. And tips and tricks, definitely one of the biggest things that helped is turning off the view count, because that can be one of the biggest like
mental defactors. Yeah, it's a huge mental defactor. Yeah. And it's very subliminal too. And a lot of people don't realize it. They look at that view count, they see that 1 or 2, and then they see it jump up to like 3. They're like, fuck yeah. And that's great. And that pumps up your energy. But then it goes back down to 1, and you're like, Even I suffer from that too.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you guys leaving? That immediate feedback towards what you just did. If it goes up, all right, damn, I'm gonna keep doing that, or it goes down, damn, I should stop doing that. It doesn't give out good content.
Yeah,
and I think that definitely is one of the biggest things. Like, without fail, like I hover over the view count, trying to not to press it, and at times I like flick it. I flick it like click, double click, just a quick peek. Very
curiosity,
yeah, and curiosity gets you. But that of course goes into the energy, and I'd say definitely energy is key in terms of when you stream.
Yep,
for sure. Consistent energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, and it tandems a little bit off of that. It's not so much the view count. It's more so just keeping up a constant performance in a sense. Constantly talking and engaging with people, even though there may not be people there, right? Constantly keeping up the performance. Sitting there talking and, just trying to entertain, even, you may not necessarily have viewers at that current time, but what if someone were to pop in and be like, oh, okay, this guy's talking. He's, let's see what he's got, Then you look over at chat and glancing over at chat. But that's something that I struggle with because, especially when I'm playing games like Slay the Spire, I get very mentally into the game. And it draws a lot of my attention there. And so I'll kind of just zone out and just tunnel and be like, And then like 10 minutes later, I'll pass and I'll finally catch up. My brain will catch up and I'll look over at chat. I'm like, oh shit, I missed 30 fucking messages.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm back at one viewer and it's like, oh, well, fuck.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Some people get really mad too, like if you don't say anything, like if they're like typing to you, like I got maybe like 3 messages in a row from this one person one time, you know, and I was like really into the game. I couldn't really focus on anything else because I was doing like an intense battle, you know, that required 100% of my focus, you know, and this person was talking to me. They're like, hello? Oh, you're not going to talk to me? Cool. Deuces. I'm like, oh, my bad, bro. Sorry I missed you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
At least hang out long enough for me to respond. But like the messages were so close back to back. You know, like he didn't really give me a moment to be like, okay, pause. Hello? You know? So just really what that boils down to is just viewership ADD. You know, like you get people who will channel hop, you know, and that whole viewership thing, it's not really anything that you're doing per se. It's their attention spans and how much effort they want to put into sitting there and watching you, you know, before they flip to another channel.
Which again
you know?
ties back into the whole keeping the engaging performance going.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you think people are currently watching you or not as a small streamer. Because, you know, sure, I may have some decent numbers here and there, but most of my streams start out in that fucking 4 to 5 range. That's where I sit for the vast majority, and that's what my average viewership is at right now. And then sure, maybe throughout the night it'll pick up a bit, but I do start there, and, you know, most of us can attest to that too. That's where we all sit for the vast majority of our streams, and that's nothing wrong with that, but that's just where it is. And so keeping up that constant engaging performance, it's taxing. It really is. By no means is what we do hard, but it definitely is a mental tax.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really just like, okay, like say if you're sitting in your bedroom, right, and like say like you weren't even streaming, you know, if you're playing a video game and somebody comes in and they're trying to chat you up, you know, and you're just like yeah, okay, yeah, you know, and then they like get annoyed because you weren't paying attention to them, you know, it's kind of just like that. Yeah, same principle, you know, but like it's just the only thing I can say is just have a little patience. Be patient with us, please. Be patient.
Especially when we're entertaining, you know. And I can't speak on the behalf of like, you know, the massive streamers, but especially when we're sitting there trying to entertain, you know, say for example, like I have 4 or 5 active chatters, which isn't uncommon for me, but 4 to 5 people actively chatting and multiple messages going on per second. Like it gets wild and it gets a little hard. And so I have to sit there and take a conscientious effort from this screen and make it over there to sit there and focus on chat and get back to them. But yeah. So Brando, what's your take on all this? What's your adversity?
I think these are all salient points, but again, my biggest enemy, because I will get into my head, I can't do this, I'm not good enough.
Yeah. The mental trap, the normal mental trap.
This is a problem. This is the problem too. Microphone.
Yeah. That's
I
the
have
current
no
adversity
idea
you're facing. Yeah. I mean,
what the hell's going on?
Yeah. The vast majority of the time, you know, technology can definitely fight you for, you know, a lot of it. Technology, your best friend until it decides not to work, and then you hate it with a fucking passion and then some.
Just like my speakers. My speakers were working one day, and then
just the next day, nope.
No, just doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely on Brandon's point, I like to caveat off that I think mental health for sure is really huge, and definitely things that are, for the most part, I would say pretty nicely vocal in streaming communities, but something that should be reinforced like constantly. Always remind everyone that you stream with, or even yourself at times, you know, taking a break is 100% okay, you know, like relaxing, getting that reset. It's always very important to do.
Yeah,
as we all said, it's taxing. Like
exactly. And you know, and that kind of stems off of the concept. If you're trying to make a career out of this, right? At the end of the day, don't go into it with the mindset that you're trying to make a career out of it, because you're going to go into every stream, you're going to stream every day for X amount of hours, no matter how many, and you're just going to sit there and you're going to be, and I'm not saying this to be offensive, but you're going to be generically bland and boring, because you don't have the mindset going into it that you're excited to do this. You're looking forward to doing this. And that might be the case for some people, and good on you if that's you. But for me, I don't stream unless I'm in the mood for it. Because if I'm not in the mood for it, I'm not going to be pushing out enjoyable content.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I can't force it. You know, you can only put so much extra effort into character, personality, so on and so forth when you're pushing it out, especially when you're keeping it partial to yourself, like I do in my case. But you can't do that if you're slogging through it, you know, and that's how I started out. And that's what killed my drive for streaming. I came back with a fucking vengeance because I realized if I'm going to do this, I'm doing it on my terms and not, you know, the fact that I'm putting out a potential, you know, 9 to 5 broadcast. No, you can't do that. It's horrible. It's bad for you. It's horrible for your mental health. It's not going to do you well in the long run either. It's going to hurt you overall because it's going to kill your passion. It's going to kill your drive. Because at the end of the day, no matter which way you slice it, it's a grind. It really is. And it's a fucking hefty one, especially when you look at those partner numbers. It's disgusting. 75 concurrent viewers is no easy feat.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a slowly inching your way there. You know, that's how it goes.
Like you
And even when you hit the 75 concurrent viewers, it's not a guarantee.
No, exactly. It's at Twitch's discretion. And, you know, Slicker is a very good example of that. He was the largest affiliate for a long time. I think they did finally partner him. But they decided not to partner him for the longest time because they decided he was a brand risk, which is, you know, Twitch being a company and looking out for their own best interests, because that's how it is. You have to try and take your cut. It's much like the military in that sense, right? You're joining the army is going to take what they want of you, or the military in general is going to take what they want of you. It's on you to try and make the best out of that situation to get what you want out of it. And it applies very, very similarly to Twitch. Affiliate, in general, I see it as a trap. It's a very big trap for a lot of viewers, or for a lot of potential streamers. But that's a whole nother conversation on its own in regards to how you want to progress your streaming career, how you want to move forward. But if you're looking to stay exclusively with Twitch, affiliate's great for you then, you know. But if you're trying to grow your brand, it's super bad, because ultimately that's what we're doing. We're creating our own brand utilizing Twitch as a service. But at the end of the day, they're their own company looking to make their own. So they're going to take their cut. And that's how you have to look at it. And you kind of have to be like, all right, well, how can I get back out of this without, you know, skirting the lines too far? So that way Twitch will look at me as a possible, not necessarily an enemy, but a brand risk, you know, because you don't want that.
Right.
You want to be on Twitch's good side whenever it comes time for you to hit partner, because then you're likely to get proved partner. But if you're, you know, sitting there skirting the lines and you're skirting TOS really fucking carefully, like, not going to be the best for you. Because ultimately, they're using you as advertisement. They're using you as brand placement for, you know, everything. And Twitch, as soon as you sign that affiliate agreement, and as soon as you sign any agreement with Twitch, they have rights to everything you have. Your existence is theirs because you have officially become an employee.
Yeah.
So they own your brand. Not exactly the most beneficial thing for a lot of people, actually.
Yeah.
But that's another topic entirely. So not going to delve too deeply into that. Just going to keep that one fairly quiet and caveat. So
yeah. So there is something that I did want to touch on a little bit, because you guys were talking about mental health within the streaming community. I'm a Reiki healer. I'm also a advocate for mental health, just because I struggle with my own things, you know. The number one thing that you have to keep in mind is, you're streaming for an audience. You know, you're trying to put on a show and make sure everybody has a good time while they're watching you and stuff, but you have to protect yourself mentally.
You have to prioritize yourself first.
Yes, you have to put yourself first, love yourself, because no one else is going to do that for you. No matter how many viewers you get, at the end of the day, you have to love yourself.
Exactly.
Put yourself first. If you're not doing well, don't stream. You know, come back, get yourself together, you know, and then go full send.
Yeah, take a break from it. No one's going to look at you differently for taking a break. I took a month off from streaming because of the whole Texas weather. For those of you who don't know, I do live in Texas currently, and we had cold weather here, which destroyed the entire infrastructure for power and water. I sat there and had a big old laugh as someone who's from the Northeast. I'm from Massachusetts originally. Cold is nothing new. Power outages are nothing new. Water issues are nothing new. But watching Texas have its own issues was a fit for me. It was boring as shit because I didn't have power. And, you know, we live in an online world today and everything is drawn off of power. So I didn't have internet. Didn't have any of that shit. Boring as hell. But I sat there laughing about it because the situation as a whole was funny to me. For those of you who else were in Texas, don't take that as I'm laughing at you personally. I'm laughing at the infrastructure. And I hope everyone did well and everyone made it out okay. No one had any issues. I myself did not, and that's where I'm going with that. However,
Mm.
I lost my point because I am talking and rambling like an idiot. Good job, me. But basically, even then, right, because shortly after I did the exchange on my fluid for the PC, and then shortly after I had the issues with my main PC, that nice $4,000 paperweight back there, breaking down.
Mhm.
And that's a part of my soul, like I said, dying. Not exactly a good feeling. I had to take a week off from internet as a whole because it put me in that bad of a mental state, because I don't have the money right now to replace the GPU in there, because I'm more than confident that that's currently the issue. And as we all know, the silicon shortage, making it damn near impossible to buy a GPU for anywhere near MSRP. You're paying a scalper. You're paying a scalper pretty pennies. And for the GPU, for that specific one, if I were to replace everything as is, I'm looking at an easy $2,000+, which is not anything pretty. So
Yeah,
kind of put me off.
the scalpers are ruining it right now. Like you had a bunch of people that bought up a bunch of them, and a lot of them are going anywhere between like $800 to $2,000, as Celestial was saying, and that's the main reason my PC has not been put together yet. Even Starshine is sitting here without his GPU just because we can't find any at cost.
Yep.
So it's be nice to gamers. We all want to get in on that GPU. Like I understand y'all are trying to get your hustle, make your money and everything, but you're really hurting.
Nah, fuck that. I'll say it for you. They're the scum of the earth. Scalpers are the scum of the fucking earth. I don't fucking give a shit. You see it in other industries as well. Warhammer 40K, for example, whenever they release their box sets, you'll see people picking up 30, 40 of them, and they're not cheap. They run like $200+ for those box sets, for those like starter packs. And then you see them on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist for $300, $400. I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So mean.
Yeah, it's
so
super
mean.
shitty. Especially when we're talking about things that are limited quantity too. And those of you who are sneakerheads too, I'm sure you share the sentiment with those limited releases. You see it all the time. It's nothing new.
Yep.
And they
Gotta
are,
get them Jordans. Gotta get them Nikes.
hey, everyone's got their fix.
For the longest time, I was on the train for quite a while. I still get the notifications every time I like get a thing. All right, should I cop it? Should I drop it? But I haven't bought I haven't bought a pair of sneakers in a couple months. A couple months is big for me.
Breaking the addiction,
Man.
breaking the cycle. Good on you. But yeah, like, oh, that's a whole pandemic definitely sent things sideways, to say the least.
Oh yeah, definitely. But before the whole COVID thing happened, I really liked my job. I had just started working at this new place. I was working in the same building as my man for different companies, but my job was so fun. I love the people that I worked with, and since we work on base here, the Pearl Harbor Hickam Joint Base here in Hawaii, they're doing 100% ID checks now. And since I don't have a pass or like a military ID to get on post, like I haven't been able to go to work. Technically, I still have a job, but it's been a little depressing. Like, and it's not because I have to go to work, like Celestial. I do live pretty comfortably off of my VA benefits. It's my number one source of income, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Nope.
But
Not in the slightest.
I do wish that I could go back to work and work that job and be around the people that I enjoy working with, but becoming a streamer has definitely helped with some of that depression, communicating, interacting with people. It's
well, it's egotistical at the end of the day. We all stream for selfish reasons, and that's realistically what it comes down to. And there's nothing wrong with that, again, and you get people coming in and into your chat and they glass you the fuck up, and they make you feel good. It's really empowering. It really is, and it's wonderful, and it does really good things for your mental health. But at the end of the day, if you're slogging through it, it's not going to be pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even recently, I took 3 days off of internet entirely, and I just kind of sat back, did my own thing, and recharged because it is draining.
Yes. I feel bad for you, Brando. Feel bad because
Don't feel bad for me.
I feel bad because your mic keeps cutting out and everything. Like I wish we could get more feedback from you. You look so bored.
Nah. I to be honest, I'd be doing that anyway. I just have a short attention span. I'm glad to be along for the ride. I'm watching my creation
Yeah. His
Yeah.
love child here is blossoming because it's
Exactly.
actually happening. That's the important thing. It's actually
Bring
happening.
the fluttering to my heart.
Yeah.
If I had one.
Oh goodness.
Oh, he's stripping over here. You saw that, right?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, this has been fun, guys. We should do this again sometime.
Yes.
Tis the plan.
Yeah.
Tis the plan.
That's
Yeah.
the plan.
Don't know if you two specifically are going to be the next guest, but there's definitely going to be some rotation through. We're going to try and get a lot of people through
I
here.
would love to come back. It was a joy, honest pleasure. So
There will be
I
more.
think the way we're gonna do it, similar format, and we'll do the same post. But yeah, that definitely
yeah.
There will be more to come.
there will be more.
G3 After Dark podcast coming soon.
Oh boy.
Oh baby.
I don't know if we're going to be able to record that one and or stream it. That might be a bit TOS insensitive. We'll put it that way.
That goes on the Patreon. You gotta
there
pay
we
for that.
Yeah.
Pay for that.
Only
Gotta pay
podcast.
that $1 per month.
Only podcast.
Yeah.
Only podcast.
I mean, there's any number of platforms that you can podcast to, though. It doesn't have to be Twitch.
Oh, trust me. The idea at some point will definitely be Spotify because that's a lot less restrictive. That would be a very exclusive one. That would be the T3 After Dark.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But
Yeah, buddy.
first and foremost, we got to get this one up and off the ground. So
Yeah.
I say we did a pretty good job.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely solid.
My participation notwithstanding.
Well, your participation was definitely there. It was limited for sure, courtesy of technology. But get fucked. That's all I got for that one.
Yeah.
I blame Discord.
Yeah, there you go.
I blame
Hey,
Discord.
That works.
hey. To
That
be fair
works.
though, remember Nick didn't join us on video. He's
Yeah.
down there somewhere. The fucking camera.
Yeah.
Anywho, for the first half, because of internet. So also get fucked.
Yeah.
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 But,
Damn you, Comcast.
Yeah, something like that. But I think that's where we're going to call it. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Everyone, do your send-offs if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for
Bye,
watching.
everybody. Aloha.
Catch you all in a week.